Peace, family. I hope all is well. Hope you're what's today? Tuesday or Wednesday? I think today's Wednesday. Y'all, today Wednesday or Tuesday? I don't even remember what day it is today. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, whatever day it is, y'all. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I think it's Wednesday. In fact, it is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you're enjoying yourself. It is storming here in Atlanta. It's storming, thunder, all that stuff. So hopefully you guys aren't being rained on. I'm sorry, because we are here in Atlanta. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Make sure you guys go. Today is Friday. No, today's definitely Wednesday. I forgot. I lost track of my days. Lost track of my days. So today is Wednesday. Hope you're having a great day, an awesome day. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. Also, make sure you visit Donfo, DANFO, Donfo dot Africa. Again, make sure you visit Donfo, DANFO dot Africa. You guys greatly appreciate it. And I hope you're enjoying your hump day. All right. Hope you're enjoying your hump day tour. We are heading to who's this behind? We are heading to Sierra Leone in 11 days. In 11 days, we are heading to Sierra Leone, and I'm looking forward to it. We are going to have an awesome, awesome time. So, guys, if you're interested in joining, please hit me up. Make sure you go to donfo.africa. Again, donfo.africa for details. And let me get the Niger in there. There we go. Make sure they see the Niger. There we go. Again, visit donfo.africa for details. Um, citizenship. Citizenship opportunities are available for those who qualify. So if you've taken your African ancestry DNA test, again, if you've taken your African ancestry DNA test, and if your results link you back to Sierra Leone, stop calling me. You are eligible for citizenship. Again, if your results link you back to Sierra Leone, you are eligible for citizenship. So I'm looking forward to it. We're flying Air Senegal, and we're gonna have a great time. Abdul Sharif, storm clouds are forming in the Washington D.C. area. Hey, let me know. Is there gonna be? Are they gonna have? They got to have caucus this year. That's the only. When it comes to the Black Caucus, the only thing that I guess, that's worthwhile that they do is Black Caucus week or weekend in D.C. That's the only thing of value that they offer or bring to the table is Black Caucus week or weekend in DC. I hope they have it this year. If they do, I will be there. I will be attending Black Caucus this weekend. I mean, this year. They didn't have it last year. I don't know why, because of COVID. But I mean, everything's open now. Everything is open. So they gotta have it this year. They gotta have it this year. Yeah, if you guys haven't participated in a Black Caucus week or weekend, whatever it's called, make sure you do so. So I'm pretty sure that they will have one this year. I heard they will. So I'm looking, definitely looking. Oh, that's what I'm saying. But hey, listen, like I said, the only thing of value that they bring to the table or offer is Black Caucus in that week, whatever it's called, in DC. That's the only thing. Oh, my arm, goodness. That's the only thing they bring offer of value. That's we enjoy. So hopefully they'll have it. I think it's usually in July or August. I think it's in August. I think it's usually in August. Black Caucus week or weekend is usually in August. So looking forward to that. How many countries can you travel to with a Sierra Leone passport? You can travel to every country on the planet. You just gotta get a visa. It just depends on the rules with each country. Yeah, you can travel to every country on the planet. It just depends on the rules. Some countries are visa free, some aren't. So it just depends. Where I get this T-shirt at? Oh, I found this. This is the So when Nigeria made the World Cup in 2018, they released like this. Nike released this custom. In fact, I got the pants right here as well. You can see. Hold on, here we go. Nigeria Football Federation, Abuja. I just got these. So when Nigeria didn't make it, when Niger didn't make it to this year's World Cup, a lot of this stuff, these items went on a fire sale. So I got this tags and all on eBay a couple of weeks ago for $50, and then I got the shirt for $25. Now I'm just looking for the jacket. I'm looking for the jacket for the pants. Again, they have a matching jacket that goes with the pants. That's what I'm trying to find. That's been hard to find, but I found the pants size large. So I got these, even though they're made in China. Even though they are made in China, they are still fire. Again, even though they are made in China, they are still fire. So again, I bought these um, a couple weeks ago. I just want to get the jacket now in a large. I got the shirt. Now I'm gonna get another Nike Nigeria uh, football, not soccer, football shirt as well. Like I said, when they lost to Ghana, and people say, well, they didn't lose; it was the rules or whatever. Well, they didn't qualify for the World Cup, so in my eyes, they lost. We lost. So when we lost to Ghana, a lot of this stuff just popped up on eBay. But this stuff is classic, man. It's classic. So I'm still gonna rock the hell out of my Niger gear. I am. Like I said, it's classic. So we got that tour Sierra Leone. Also, we're rolling to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Again, we're rolling to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Hey, listen, I've never watched a full soccer game in my life. You know what? I take that back. I take that back. I think it was World Cup 2014, I believe. Either 2013 or 2014 World Cup. Yeah, World Cup 2013. I watched the full Ghana versus US soccer match. I watched the full soccer match. It was Ghana versus US. I think that was in 2013. And Ghana beat the US. I watched that game. I watched that full game, that World Cup game. I watched the entire game. Was it 2000? Well, I think they played in 2010 and 2014. I think they played in 2010 and 2014. Ghana played the US twice. And I want to say I watched the Nigeria match too in 2014. Well, yeah, I watched that. No, I don't think I watched it 2000. They played each other in 2014. Is the World Cup every 5 years or every 4 years? How often is the World Cup? Hold on one second. I gotta look this up. Yeah, it was 2000. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta look this up. So you guys are saying it was 2010? Here we go. USA versus Ghana in 2014. World Cup becomes ESPN's most viewed men's soccer match. But I think US won that game. Hold on. It was 2010, every 4 years. But like I said, I remember. No. I remember Ghana beat the US that game, and Ghana won in 2010. Okay, so 2010, I guess. I remember this guy right here. He kicked the winning goal. Asamoah. Here we go. This him right here. Okay, it was 2010. Here we go. Hold on. Let me share the screen real quick. Hold on 1 second. Let me mute this.
Spelhaber onside was Donovan. Never did get to him though. This is a difficult bounce for the American defence to deal with. And Asamoah Gyan has scored! A wonderful volley goal, yet another one from the danger striker. And the USA are in trouble again.
Well, the celebrations, the centre backs, the bump from Bocanegra is not enough. And there's the strike over Tim Howard. What a finish. You got to give him credit to Gian. He made definitely something out of nothing. It was a harmless ball played forward, but he penetrated, really anticipated that ball, and he stayed with it all the way and finished. Not what the U.S. was looking for to start off this extra time.
So that's the game. I watched that full game. Guys, hit the like button if you come to the chat room again. Please hit the like button. But I watched that full entire game. And I want to say I watched the Nigeria game too in 2014. Oh, Nigeria World Cup 2014. I think I watched like the first Nigeria game match World Cup. Yeah, no, I watched that whole game. I watched that whole entire soccer match with the Ghana, and I watched some of the Nigeria one. But outside of that, yeah, I ain't watching no soccer. But I'm gonna support and pretend like I watch it. I can't tell you nothing about it. I can't tell you anything about it. But yeah, so since Nigeria did not qualify to this year's World Cup, a lot of the old school Nigeria stuff items are on sale. So I'm copping some of this stuff. So, like I said, I want the jacket. I get the jacket, I'm good to go, man. So yeah, man. Yeah. So listen, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the lines. Oh, tour. Sierra Leone, end of this month. Nigeria for the Oshun Festival in August. Then Senegal in October. Then we're rolling back to Sierra Leone in November, another citizenship ceremony. Then we're doing the Voodoo Festival January. Voodoo Festival January. And in between time, we're offering bespoke tours throughout. Go to the site, danfo.africa, danfo.africa. So we're offering bespoke tours as well. So if you can't come on a group tour, you could do one of the bespoke tours as well. So links in the chat room. If you guys want to call in, you're more than welcome to call in. We're gonna jump into today's topics. Accra. And so the article said Ghana, but it's not all of Ghana is not expensive to live in. It's just Accra is very expensive. Again, Ghana is very expensive to live in. Again, Ghana is very expensive to live in. I want to pull up this article real quick. I want to pull up this article. In fact, it's right here. Hold on. Now, I know the Ghanaian president said it as well. Because, I mean, when you go to Accra, you're like, man, who can afford this? Like, who can afford to live in the actual city? I mean, we've been priced out of Accra. You got to move out. Kumasi, Cape Coast, along that route. But as far as Accra, man, it is expensive. And this is coming from Michael Blackson. Hey, see, listen, y'all, listen. Hannah's in the chat room. Hannah got her real estate license, and she don't call nobody no more. Hannah done got brand new. Listen, Hannah got her real estate license, and she's been ghost. Hannah done disappeared on us. She too good now. She got a real estate license. She too good now. Here we go. Ghana is an expensive country to live in. Michael Blackson. American, Ghanaian, Liberian. Hey, he's Liberian too. Comedian come actor Michael Blackson is of the view that living in Ghana is immensely pricey. He said this on the heels of a recent inquiry he made on the cost of houses in the country. To own real estate is expensive. To rent is not that bad, depending where you're going. To rent isn't that bad. But if you want to own real estate in Accra, it's going to cost you. In an exclusive interview with Doreen Evio on Let's Talk Entertainment on Joy News, the movie actor disclosed that he started building a house for his mother not long ago. I built a house in the village for my mother. The houses were pretty pricey, but don't get it wrong. The style of home I was looking for was equivalent to $200,000. I asked myself, how can one afford this with the salary they are receiving? He quizzed. Like I said, in Accra, I'm like, what local can afford this? The rent, if you want to buy land, like what local could afford this? However, Michael conducted a wider research and disclosed that there are less expensive houses on the Ghanaian market. Like I said, Ghana as a whole is not that bad. But Accra, boy, I did more research and found that there are cheaper houses. You just got to do more research. Unfortunately, for my mom, I could afford to get her a home. But how about those who can't not afford them? Even $50,000 is a lot of money for somebody, he pointed. The multi-award winning comedian also touched on interest rates provided by banks in the country. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to Ghana to take out a loan for a home or a mortgage, you might as well forget that. You got to pay cash. You got to pay cash. I mean, interest rates are out of control. You know, there's no FHA where you can come in, put down 3.5%. Interest rate is about 3%. Nah. In Africa, for the most part, if you're gonna mortgage a home, you putting down half. Interest rate gonna be 15%. I had no clue Michael Blackson was Liberian too. All right. Let's see here. The multi-award winning comedian also touched on interest rates provided by banks in the country and quizzed whether the institutions were able to give out loans to the average Ghanaian. The answer is no. The same way the average American can't get a loan. Irrespective of the high cost of living in the country, the Coming to America actor said that he believes there is headway as compared to decades ago. There is progress. There's a big difference now than it was 10 years ago, he said. He also called on Ghanaians living abroad to invest in Ghana to better the fortunes of the country in the near future. A part of investing back in the country, Michael is building a school in Saba, a town in the central region of Ghana. The school is expected to begin operations in September 2022. The opening ceremony is anticipated to be graced by the presence of the First Lady of Ghana, Miss Rebecca Akufo-Addo. Ghana ain't cheap, y'all, if you want to own in Accra. But you know, outside of Accra, in the suburbs and further out, it's not as bad. It's not as bad. But for those looking to live in the city, yeah, it's gonna cost you. 1 year rent paid in advance. Yeah, for the most part, when you're dealing with a lot of African countries and renting, you got to pay it a year in advance. So that's just how it works. But y'all, Hannah got it. Hannah's a big time real estate agent now. So Hannah, y'all, don't worry about Hannah. Hannah, she got the money. Don't worry about Hannah. Hannah got it. So we're not worried. We're not worried about Hannah. She got the money. Here we go. Aliko Dangote. I didn't think Kenya would be more corrupt than Nigeria. Why Dangote dropped plans to set up multi-billion-dollar plant in Kenya. Africa's richest man, Nigerian tycoon Aliko Dangote, net worth is estimated to be US $19.2 billion. That's according to the official Bloomberg Billionaires Index website. The tycoon, who turned 65 in April, is the CEO of Dangote Group, a conglomerate that has grown tentacles into manufacturing, food processing, telecommunication, real estate, and banking. His cement Pan-African investment has the capacity to produce over 50 million tons and has bases in more than 10 African countries in sub-Saharan Africa. These countries include Nigeria, South Africa, Senegal, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Zambia, Tanzania, Congo, Brazzaville, Sierra Leone, Togo, and Ghana. Listen, there's so much Dangote cement that's being used in Africa that literally you will see African women using the Dangote cement bags as purses. Again, you will see African women using the Dangote cement bags as purses. There's so much Dangote cement production and plants in Africa. Ladies are walking around using the bags as purses. Let's continue. Despite being a continental economic powerhouse, Kenya misses out of the list. This is contrary to reports by the Industrialization Ministry that the Nigerian entrepreneur had been given a nod for prospecting limestone in Kitui County. That was part of Dangote's $1.4 billion partnership with a Chinese company called Sonoma International Engineering. That will see Dangote cement expand in various countries across Africa. According to celebrated journalist Jeff Coinage, Dangote informed him that some corrupt government officials frustrated his plan to set up a firm in Kenya as they demanded kickbacks. Coinage revealed details of his conversation with Dangote in 2018 after he attended his Dangote's daughter's wedding. I asked him, Alhaj, when are you coming back to Kenya? And he said, Jeff, there are people in that place, Kenya, who put greed and personal interests ahead of national interests. I didn't think Kenya would be more corrupt than Nigerians. Wow. Jeff revealed in one of his radio shows the growth of Dangote Cement. According to the Dangote Cement's official website, the company was founded in 1981. Just a few years after Dangote had began trading in various household products such as sugar, flour, salt, and pasta. In its maiden days, Dangote Cement operated 2 termini in Nigeria's Port Harcourt and Appa for importation and distribution of cement. In 1990s, the company became a fully fledged integrated manufacturing plant and acquired Benue Cement Factory from the federal government in 2000. 2 years later, Dangote acquired another industry, the Banjana Cement PLC. By 2007, Banjana Cement plant had a capacity of producing 5 million tons of cement annually. In 2010, Banjana and Benue Cement were merged and renamed Dangote Cement PLC. It is the same year that Dangote Cement was listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Shout out to Dangote. Expansion into Africa. Because Africa is gradually expanding, the idea of Dangote expansion was to tap into the high demand for cement across the continent. Over the last 10 years, Dangote Cement has risen to unprecedented levels, and below are some of its subsidiaries in various countries and their estimated annual outputs. Ghana, 1 million tons. South Africa, 2 industries with a total output of 4.5 million tons. Senegal, 1.5 million tons. Cameroon, 1.5 million tons. Ethiopia, 2.5 million tons. Zambia, 1.5 million tons. Congo Brazzaville, 1.5 million tons. Tanzania, 3 million tons. Sierra Leone, 0.7 million import terminal. Togo, 1.5 million tons. There we go. Shout out to Dangote, y'all. Shout out to Dangote, y'all. Shout out to that man. Dangote, we want to thank you for all the work that you are doing. It is definitely appreciated and much respected. Thank you, Dangote. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, Ghana's off the chain. Like Ghana is off the chain. Oh, don't want to put that in there. Hold on one second. Yeah, Ghana's off the chain. I love Ghana. I'm more of a Kumasi guy though. I like Kumasi. Yes, he's doing way better than Akon. Like I said, when it comes to Ghana, I prefer Kumasi. I'm a Kumasi guy. Which leads me into the next article. Hold on, which leads me to the next article. About the growing debt in Kenya. An amount of money they owe to the Chinese. I think 70% of the debt is owed to China. That's not good. Here we go. Let's look at this article right here. Here we go. Kenya's presidential hopeful Odinga. Guys, his dad wrote a book, Oginga Odinga, not yet Uhuru. Great book. Not yet Uhuru. That's the name of the book. Not yet Uhuru. Great book. Excellent book. Guys, go get that. Go check that out if you can find it. I actually bought a copy in when I was in Kenya. That's when I bought the book. In fact, guys, I plan on going to Kenya in August, end of August. I plan on going to Kenya and back to Tanzania. Again, end of August, I plan on going to Kenya and back to Tanzania. So, if you're out that way, let me know. March 16, 2022. Kenyan presidential candidate Raila Odinga will target improved debt repayment terms for the East African economy, saying existing obligations of almost $100 billion may force the nation to seek help from the International Monetary Fund. Oh, man, you know what that means. The growing debt puts Kenya in the group of the most debt-distressed middle and lower-income developing countries now, being forced into IMF credit and IMF-supervised austerity programs. Odinga said at Chatham House in London on Wednesday, such austerity programs are usually implemented in the sole interest of satisfying the debt repayment at the expense of people's livelihood. We have no choice in the matter. In its drive to upgrade roads, railways, and other infrastructure, Kenya has more than quadrupled its borrowings over the past decade, and the IMF has warned that the country is at high risk of debt distress. Odinga will run for president in elections on August 9th against William Ruto. Okay, so Uhuru Kenyatta, he can't run. Yeah, I think he served like 2 or 3 terms, something like that. Who has also pledged to rein in the government borrowing. Presidential hopeful plans to shun debt-fueled Kenyan projects. If he wins, Odinga said he will seek the indulgence and cooperation of our development partners to renegotiate our debt. For new loans, his government will strive to borrow at favorable rates, negotiate repayment periods that are not stressful, and invest in enterprises that give good socioeconomic returns, he said. The country's troubles with debt are in part caused by corruption, kleptocracy. Hopefully I said that right. Don't judge me. And so-called state capture, he said, adding that he'd ensure Kenya does not default on repayment. The structure of Kenyan debt, mostly short-term loans with high interest rates, is the cause of most of the strain, according to Tony Watima, a Nairobi-based independent economist. About 29% of Kenya's external debt is expensive syndicated loans and international sovereign bonds. Renegotiating the terms would be good, he said. The problem is this promise doesn't have structured details about the plan. Restructuring commercial loans such as Eurobonds will be an uphill task, while China hasn't shown commitment to renegotiate loans with African countries. They don't need to. They got them by the balls. Pause. This isn't the first time a renegotiation of public debt has come up in Kenya or even in this election. According to Connor Vassie, an analyst at Eurasia Group, various parliamentary committees have in the past advocated a partial or comprehensive debt treatment. What's interesting is that the debt is now a hot issue on both sides of the aisle. Vassie said the devil is also in the detail. When pressed, you'll find Odinga's team is talking about renegotiation of short-term syndicated loans. Odinga, who has a team studying Kenya's debt structure with a view of coming up with strategies on how to manage it best, hasn't ruled out taking the G20 common framework route, spokesman Dennis Onyango said by text. Here we go. Earlier this month, lawmakers directed the National Treasury to provide a field quantification of public debt by April, including amounts dispersed and commitments secured. This was after Kenyan authorities committed to the IMF to include undispersed debt and non-guaranteed public sector debt in its reporting by October 2022. Kenyan lawmakers demand full disclosure on public debt by April. Kenya's debt stood at 8.2 trillion shillings, $71 billion. Goodness, that's a lot of money. In December, compared with 1.8 billion shillings in January 2013. Oh, wow. The present value of debt is estimated at 59% of gross domestic product in 2022, and is projected to remain above the proposed 55% ceiling until 2025, according to the IMF. The yield on Kenyan Eurobonds due in 2024 fell 15 basis points to 6.46% by 10:30 a.m. in London after dropping 23 basis points in the previous session. On Chinese debt, the problem is that those negotiating on behalf of African countries with the Asian nation failed to push for favorable terms, which his government will seek if he's victorious, Odinga said. If you're uncomfortable with some of the terms you renegotiate, he said, put it back on the table and renegotiate or find someone else who can be able to buy out the Chinese. That's a lot of money to buy out the Chinese, y'all. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. If you guys notice, like, so Odinga and the Kenyatas, they like have a beef. So if you read the book, not yet Uhuru, they were at one time they were cool. There was a time where they were actually cool. So yeah, that's interesting. East Lagoon is pricey, but has many of the amenities and venues that folks will appreciate. Yeah, but the issue I have with Ghana and like East Lagoon, you'll pay $800,000 for a house, but you pull up to your big ass house and it's a dirt road. The roads aren't even paved. That's the problem. You spend all this money and the roads aren't even paved, leading up to your $800,000 million house in East Lagoon. That's the problem. Guys, hit the like button. But the Odingas and the Kenyatta family were once cool. Like after once they gained their independence, Jomo Kenyatta, Odinga, they were boys, but then they fell out somehow. So, gas them up. Go ahead, take us away.
Hey, what's going on, Dinus?
Hey, what's up, brother?
I'm good, man. So yeah, I'm listening intensely, man. Some good stuff. I sent you an email about the brother. I didn't know the guy who had a Calendly was a Nigerian. I just sent it to you, and he's worth like 1.something billion. So when you get a chance, I'm sure you'll check it out. You know that that app called Calendly that people use to like schedule appointments?
Yeah.
CAL. Yeah, a Nigerian dude owned that. I had no idea.
Oh
yeah, man, majority owner. He's worth like I think 1.something billion now with the last valuation. I just sent you the email. You get me?
Yeah. Go ahead, bro. I hear you.
Yeah. So just quick with the Kenya being more corrupt than Nigeria. I mean, I think all African countries are going to still face that. You look at the trajectory of so-called developing cities and urban development. Like nowhere was more corrupt than New York City, where you have a guy like so-called Boss Tweed saying that he can hire one half of the poor to kill the other half of the poor. You got guys like Robert Moses in New York City who literally ran New York City, built the Cross Bronx, all the development from New York City. He pretty much ran it. So, that type of thing is just going to happen with the eventual trajectory of so-called development. With the city, the expense in the city, I mean, Accra, I think every major city in Africa, but just around the world, just in general, based on how the trajectory of cities are going, is still increasing. I mean, I'm sure like 10 years
It's,
ago.
it's increasing, but like even like in Nigeria, like if you go to Lekki, like Ibeju Lekki in some parts, like it's not that bad. But in Ghana, like in Accra, like I mean, it's expensive.
No, of course, in terms of housing, I mean, and part of it is because, you know, you know, people don't like to go back to the history to see why we got where we got, right? So what caused Africans to move into these cities where you have these massive slums and these, super rich places and then these really poor places? Like in Accra, there's a notorious slum, Nima, right? All my Ghanaians will know about Boogie Down Nima, right? Nima, they're known, they're like the Ajogunle of Ghana, right? And so what caused this, what made us move, a lot of times, like you look at, for example, most of these cities, the population that they're holding, especially in Africa, they weren't designed to hold that population. So you look at like Lagos is a perfect example of that. Lagos wasn't designed to hold the number of people that's in it. But what brought people to the city? It was the hut tax. They got people out of the villages through the hut tax. They said, look, you got to pay this tax. People rioted against it. And then, eventually they succumbed to that pressure and everybody moved into the city. And as they moved into the city, this is where the corruption starts to happen, because now the town planner says, look, man, we can only have maybe 15 houses on this block. You go visit him at night, give him extra money. He now comes in and says, all right, cool. He signs and he stamps it. So now you have more people building and building on top of these things where they're not supposed to have built in the first place. So, I mean, but this is old, man. Fela's drummer, Tony Allen, he made the song in 1970s, No Accommodation for Lagos, right? No accommodation for Lagos. And he's saying, he's like, yo, look, so you work in VI, Victoria Island, but you live in this part of Lagos. That means you got to get up at 5 in the morning, running up and down for like a madman, right? Get to your place. What time are you going to get home to enjoy your life? You guys can go listen to the song, great album. So I think it's going to take people really taking a step back to go forward. How do we restructure these cities, these metropolises in Africa? And then what do you think about that? How do you think we can restructure them?
Well, I mean, they're doing it now I mean, they're doing it now in Legos. They're just the way to restructure them. You really can't restructure them. The only thing you can do is build out, like outside of the outskirts. Like in Senegal, they moved the airport outside of the car for a reason, because the car is so crowded. So the only thing you could do, like with Legos, is just build outside of the actual where all the traffic and where everything is crowded. That's all you can do. You can't really restructure what's already built.
No, which you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, when you look at it historically, Abeokuta was actually more developed than Lagos up until I would say 19 something, right? The outskirts of Lagos was where most of the people were, and those places actually had better roads. They were much more developed than Lagos. And the other thing I'll point out,
what you could do, like here in Atlanta, just build up. I mean, you either build up or you build out.
Well, no, you're right. When I go to Nigeria, I tell them all the time, I'm like, hey, listen, why don't we have like overhead trains like Chicago, New York? Why don't we have like overhead highways? That would definitely reduce the traffic. But again, in order to do that, it's going to get to my next point. African, like with the
okay,
hello. Hold on, Ramsey. Give me 1 second, Ramsey. Give me 1 second. I'm almost done. So it gets to my next point when to tie in with the Kenyan thing, with the gentleman talking about the loans. African governments are not capable of sustaining development. And no one wants to admit that. The truth of the matter is they don't have an internal revenue source. I'm not a fan of it because I personally don't necessarily want to pay taxes, right? But sure, I'll pay taxes if we're seeing development, right? And unfortunately, that's just not happening. So when you look at the United States, for example, and then again, who runs the system, right? So these African governments, their bonds are rated the lowest that it can be rated by the credit rating agencies. But let's be fair, Dynas, when you look at inflation minus the demand for American dollars, the U.S. Treasury bond shouldn't be rated an A, or it should be a B minus at best. It's not a great, Treasury bond to own, with the crumbling infrastructure in the United States. But they're not going to do that to the United States. They're not going to do that to parts of Europe, but they'll definitely do it to Africa. So I think African governments have to find a way to raise internal revenue and use that revenue accordingly. Because when you talk about debt, yeah, Kenya has a lot of debt, but compared to the United States, compared to some European countries, who has more debt, right? They have way more debt than African countries do. The problem is the African governments don't have a taxpayer that they can hinge that debt upon. If you have a taxpayer, a dedicated tax base that you can now float these bonds, now you can play in the same ballpark that these other people are doing. But yeah, Brother Ramsey, I want to hear what you guys say.
Okay, so I'm going to address all the, I did listen from the beginning when you came on. So I'm going to start from the last one. You're talking about tax-based system. We do have a tax system, but it's not a comprehensive one. So lots of the taxes paid by people, to the government actually end up in people's pockets. So it is designed that way. If you look at Lagos, MC Oluomo, so they collect all these.
Yeah, I know him, NURTW. I know MC Oluomo very well. Now my people, I know them.
Okay, so this money that they're collecting from all this downfall in Lagos should be going to Lagos state government and the local government. But a chunk of that, do go into people's pocket. All those, and
the touts, we know the allies, we know they collect the money. We know what's going on.
That is a problem. I could speak about my state also. I'm from Akra Ibom State. So I was looking at
Ekpe people.
So the KK people, if you look at my state, is my estimation is like about 500,000 KK in Akwa Ibom State, and they're paying 200 naira every day. If you want to look at that in a year, it could be up to 20 billion naira. But I heard one time that the person in charge of that actually bought a house in Dubai. So you see the money, the taxes that are supposed to come in now end up in Dubai. So you see, we're not going to develop because it's not going to government, and it's designed by the political system so that people have way to feed on, and they will support whoever is the governor of that state. So that is how it is designed. And going back to the housing issue. So the housing issue is I think the issue is land ownership. People own land, unlike in Western countries where people do not own land. So if I have a piece of land I want to put in my house there, regardless of what the town planner will say, people would rather kill that town planner than to try to adjust to buy the other land, which would be a huge amount to adjust to what the town planner would like for us to have. And I will move from there to address the issue of people overcrowding in the city. So the problem I look at it is that the infrastructures in the villages, decayed. Some villages didn't have infrastructure. I happen to come from a village that we had a little bit, and when I was growing up, there were
don't diss my villages.
Yes, so in my village, I will speak of my village.
I'm just playing.
We had pipeline water. We had constant electricity. We had food processing factory. We had a big fishery division that they used to a fish farm. It was very big, and they mismanaged all those things, and everything collapsed. So where did people go? They moved into the cities, and the cities, the jobs, some of the factories also, did going, how do you call it? Closed down. So that is why now another issue in the city is crime. So it's a big issue. So you look at loans. Speaking of loans, Kenya has a lot of loans. Nigeria has a lot. More than 70% of our revenues that we
is loans. Yes,
actually is servicing debt. And if you look at it, Western countries do actually like it because they design international systems such that they will use loan to keep down development in third world countries. They know very well that they will mismanage. They go and give them loans, and and then bring up conditions. Okay, for me to give you these loans, you have to do this. They know those economic prescriptions will not lead to any meaningful development. And if you go back to American economic intelligence report of 1974. I read it. It was declassified. So it says that the development of third world countries is of serious economic, technology, and security threat. So they do everything to keep third world countries down. And in the 70s, Nigeria was their major target in Africa because Nigeria was at the level of development with India and Brazil. So they targeted those three countries to keep them down. But Nigeria, you know how we don't have, policy that would sustainable policies. So the president in the 70s, early part of the 70s, was General Gowon. He had a very good
Go on.
Yeah, he had a very good governor of central bank who advised him. And at some point, America was angry that Nigeria did not take a loan from the World Bank, and they said, "Oh, they were going to stop the loan that they were, the aid that they were giving to Nigeria." And the governor of central bank then, Dr. Clement Isong, is late. So he responded. He said that the American aid is a drop in the bucket. So because Nigeria had a lot of money then.
Nigeria at that time, they said Nigeria's problem was a spending problem. They didn't know what to do with the dollars, which is why when Fela was singing at that time, a lot of the elites in Nigeria didn't pay attention to Fela because to them, they said, this guy is crazy. Nigeria is great. You understand? Nigeria is working well. So they thought Fela was psycho. They didn't understand that Fela was kind of predicting the future, where this mismanagement would get to.
So when you look at all of that, and even at some point, there was former Brazilian president who actually they had a conference with African head of state, African president. He told them that they should not take Western economic prescription, that it will not work. But African leaders do not listen because, one thing is they want to go to Western countries and buy houses. They want to steal money and put in Western banks. So they want to be in good terms. So whatever Western leaders bring to them, they will say, "Oh yeah." Because
I agreed. But even deeper than that, Brother Ramsey, even deeper than that. Look, listen, that is, I don't want to go too deep for the show, but many of those African leaders are part of they're part of certain societies that their allegiance is not to the so-called African states that they are managing. Even I challenge everyone in this live, go and Google. I'll email it to you, Dennis. Go and Google the document that the British gave Nigeria during independence, 1960. Now, mind you, you had guys like Awolowo, right? You had Zeke, all these guys who are well educated, some were lawyers, all of these people. The document says clearly to continue, Dinus, the Queen's dominion. Doesn't say the words freedom, doesn't say the word independence. Same thing with the Ghanaian document. I can send both of you. If you don't believe me, go on the UK website, the uk.gov website. It's there. Read it. So when these guys who are African leaders, so-called leaders, are getting this document that says you're independent, and it doesn't have the word independence on it, but it says to continue the Queen's dominion, how can we take these so-called leaders serious? And to get to your point about, developing, that's why I've always been screaming, we have to redefine what is development. Because if we try and develop the way the European develops, we're not going to win that game. I was just reading an article on the mud architecture, Dinus, right? Like, you've been to Senegal and these other
and in Mali, I loved it.
In Mali, right? Some of the most and we look down on it. And Africans look down on it, but here's the kicker: those the mud architecture, believe it or not, ironically, I'll say these 2 points. They last forever, and I'll say these 2 points. When the sun hits the mud, it's one of the most efficient HVAC systems ever created because during the daytime it stores the heat from the sun, and at night it actually releases it. And I just read an article that the Dutch, when they were in Benin, they were talking about how polished and well those mud architecture houses looked. They said it looked like marble. Come to find out, they were using moringa leaves. You can actually use moringa leaves to polish that mud architecture to give it that cement look. Now, this is high African science. So again, I'm not saying don't have a toothbrush, because when people hear me talk, they're like, "Yo, Gaston just wants you to go to the village and be in the slums." And it's like, no, man, we had technological systems. Even the way African cities and villages were built, right? Because keep in mind, what we call Nigeria was actually called Western Sudan. It wasn't even called Nigeria. I've told people this crazy lady, the whole Flora Shaw, right, was out there sleeping with two different men that gave us that name. She's the first slave queen. But the point is that the way African cities were developed and structured, we're not even tapping into that. Here's, and I'll stop with this. Here's a modern day thing that we can do. If you go to Nigeria right now, if you want to import anything, the only port you can import is in Lagos, the Tin Can port. Now, where Ramsey is from, Akwa Ibom, they have a port there. Cross Rivers has a port. Delta State has a port. Even Benin has a port. Why aren't those ports open? You know what they'll tell you? Oh, we've checked it. It can't work, blah, blah, blah. It's all a lie because they know, and I'm not a fan of importation, but if you open up the ports, guess what? Ramsey Dynasty and Gas Them Up don't have to go to Lagos and crowd ourselves in the city. We can sit down there in Akwa Ibom and import our cars and sell our products.
Yes, up. You know how long. So when I go to Nigeria, just the line of trucks that are waiting to get into that port is like stretched for miles.
Yeah, the port is just ridiculous.
So that is in Nigerian internal politics. So you look at people from Lagos. People from Lagos, the Lagos people, and I would say I don't like calling this out, but if you look at it, since after the Civil War, Nigerian Civil War, so the Northerners have been in alliance with the Southwest, so they control the Nigerian politics since after the Civil War. So they try to prevent development in the eastern part of Nigeria because they know. Part of this is that they were warned by the British government that the East could, has a way of, coming up technologically, which part of it was during the Civil War, there was a blockade and the Easterners actually developed, sophisticated weapons to fight the Nigerian government. So despite being supported by Soviet Union, the British and American government. So they were able to square up at some point, even moving from the east, going closer to Lagos. So this was a plan that the British had in place with the Northerners to prevent any meaningful development in the eastern part of Nigeria. That's why they're blocking the port. If you see Newi and Aba and Onitsha, there's a huge industrial activity.
Yeah, the largest market in Nigeria.
Yes. So these are efforts of the Igbo people. So the Igbo people are very industrial. They are very efficient in managing even little resources that they have. So this is effort. They don't want any meaningful development in the eastern part. That's why they will not allow the port in Calabar.
But Brother Ramsey, do we say that that's in northern Nigeria? Because I'm very careful, right? Because I don't want to, because they're already typing in the Gas Them Up as a tribalist. I have no quarrel with the North. It's the northern elites that are doing that. It's not the average.
It's not just the North. The Yoruba people are part of it.
Okay, I agree, but you see, this is why I say we have to be careful in our rhetoric, because now if we go and start saying things like that, and you can say what you want, I can't tell you what to do, you're a man. But I feel if we talk like that, the issue now becomes a situation where we don't escape the ghost that caused the Civil War. And so now, if is it the northern elite, the Yoruba elite? Yes, it's them. Yes. It's not the average northern man. It's not the average Yoruba man. They are not a part of the conspiracy. And so we have to now do a better job of communicating amongst ourselves, because realistically, look, I want to shout out, I won't say her name, but my woman is an Akwa Ibom woman. You understand? I'm Isoko. So let's not be so tribalistic. I'm Isoko till I die. You understand? Isoko Talapia, you understand? So, but at the end of the day, let's not be so tribalistic that we now miss the big picture and we start going at each other's throats. And then the elites, even the Eastern elites, they are all part and parcel of these same people exploiting us.
So I'm going to tell you one thing quick. So you could say that, but I tell you, when Obasanjo was the president, there was one lady from Cross River State who was in charge of Nigerian Port Authority. So she actually tried to open up the port in Calabar. That's when you hear of the governor of Cross River State then, Duke.
Donald Duke.
Duke was there, and then there was something they did there, and so the pot was, flowing. Things were coming in. You know what happened? I tell you exactly what happened. I'm not trying to be tribalistic, but I'm going to speak the truth. But the truth has to do with a certain tribe. The Yoruba people went there and said that the woman was corrupt. The petition, so she was suspended. There was investigation. They came back. They found out that she was not corrupt. You know what happened? She was not returned there. They instead they asked Obasanjo to send in a Yoruba person. They sent in a Yoruba person to replace her, and then they closed down the port in Calabar. So that was the end of.
But Ramsey, see, this is my beef. All the hard men, all the touts, all the cult boys, the allies that are in Cross Rivers and Delta and Akwa Ibom, this is where you guys show your so-called manhood. Who is somebody that is in Yoruba land to come and tell you cannot open your port? This is where you show you are a tough guy. Not to go and do, let me not say any names so they don't come after me, but don't go and brutalize your own people internally. If you want to show you are a strong man, this is where you show you are a big guy.
The Nigerian Port Authority. It's not like state controls it.
Don't you see Wike is controlled, but the governors can fight. You see, as Wike is fighting, Wike doesn't care. What does Wike tell them? I don't send the federal government. Do what you want. So we South, look, we South people, we have to stop keep saying, oh, the Northerners. Let's be men. If that's the case, this is what we fight for. Let's, as Americans would say, let's hold our nuts. Let's hold our nuts and be men. This is what we fight for. Open our ports, and this is what we'll die for. Don't just sit there and let one allergy control everything, or one Yoruba man so-called control everything. No, who is he? How dare he say what can happen in Cross Rivers? Are they mad? Are they gods?
No, you can say, but at the end of the day, it's the federal authority, port authority, that controls, what goes where, what ship goes where. So
yeah, but my brother, okay, in the north now, they just found gold. What did the northern? I forgot which state. They just found gold. Zamfara. Look at what the state governor said. He said, the gold is our own. No? We're not sharing. And if we even give federal, we're giving them small. So think about the logic. So all these years, Niger Delta Oil has been feeding this country. We've been feeding Nigeria. We didn't say is our own. No. Now you people find gold is your own. So this is why I blame the so-called hard allies, all the touts, the killers from the South. Stop saying it's Fulani. It's a lie. If South people stick together, if South people stand strong, nobody can defeat us. Yeah, but the truth of the matter is, if you go to, for example, when I was registering my business, go to CAC building, where you register your company. All the Fulani, they're good. See all the Eastern and Delta people, they're speaking by force Yoruba. They're speaking by force Yoruba, trying to be among. No. So I blame us South. Let's stop complaining about the so-called North. They can't defeat us if South stand strong.
That is true to some extent, because we had a South president who did not remember his village, who took all the money from South to go and build Amajiri schools. Who considered that the railway from Abuja to Kaduna was more important than a railway from Onitsha or Aba to Abuja. And then, so these are the things that we look at. But again, you see, if you go to Nigeria, all the federal parastatals, all the federal ministries, all the directors are, if you see, most of it, you see a lot of Fulani people there. You see, then a few Yorubas, then maybe in some cases Igbo. So this is how Nigeria is being structured. Even the NNPC, nearly all the 30 directors are Fulanis, and who have in Nigeria, all the petroleum engineers are from the south, all the chemical engineers are from the south, geophysicists are from the south, geologists are from the south. But you see people coming to occupy high positions in NNPC. You ask them, what qualifications do you have? Maybe they have a degree, but you see Nigeria is structured to be tribalistic. You cannot rule that out. Yes.
Ramsey.
Yes.
I am from the same area as Obasanjo. We are from the same town. What did he do there? He didn't do anything either. I think we are, let's stay focused on the issue here. Let's not be tribalistic here. The reason I'm saying that is this. Nigeria's problem is more of a class system. Tribe, religion, and race is just a ruse to confuse the masses. When these people are sharing money or stealing funds, they don't care about tribe, religion, or race. So when it comes to solutions as well, I don't think people in the middle class or down there should be focused on that. That's just distraction, in my opinion. They're gonna open up the new port in Lagos, right? The new the bigger one in Lagos, for instance. Guess who's gonna be the DG there? One in Bala. We already know it's gonna be. So I agree with you to that extent. We already know the way the system works, but the solution is not should not be tribal. It's a class warfare. So I think that's if you're gonna prefer solutions, focus on more of a class warfare thing than rather tribal alliances or religious
But
something.
brother, if you say that, how can you say that when we see that all these positions, as Brother Ramsey is saying, is occupied by certain tribal, processes? So I'm not tribalistic. I have nothing against those people, but my own beef is with actually my own South people, because the South people are not doing what they're supposed to do. If the North is tribalistic, then why can't we be tribalistic? Is we have all the so-called brain. We say, oh, we are educated. Those Fulani, they are backward. That is. So think about it. A backward, uneducated man is running you. We have all the so-called
No, but you make it. I'm with you.
So think about
Oh,
it.
I think Wilfred is kind of like is delayed. But to answer your question, I do agree with you, Wilfred. Your thing is kind of your is delayed. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Wilford, you gotta echo. You gotta turn off the playback, Wilford.
So I do agree with you that like Yoruba. Let me just say Yoruba quote here, and I will say the meaning. Yoruba will say "Okun mean that if the sea is very violent, you should also be very violent with the sea as well. So I agree with you in the context that people have been tribalistic in that term. But I'm saying that I've been in meetings with these kind of people, those so-called powerful people in Nigeria. They might not know I'm there, but I see the way they operate. When it comes to looting that country dry, nobody ever brings up tribal issues or racial issues. Even your so-called leaders in the South that you think are with you, once they come into that circle, they change tunes. They don't remember. So I agree, the North is more together than the South. But what I'm saying, at the end of the day, it's still a class problem, not so much of a tribal problem. It's still a class issue, not much of a tribal. That's my position.
Okay, Aluta, you look at in the allocation of ports. Lagos has so many ports. Why do we still put a port in Lagos?
Okay.
Why don't we spread out?
Let me explain why. Let me explain why. The new seaport in Bejuleki was supposed to be in Ondo. Ondo has a deeper. Ondo actually has the deepest in Nigeria. If you look at the Ondo, actually should have been where they put it. But the excuse they gave was that the economic system in Ondo is not, they don't have enough people there to attract that kind of thing. That's always been the excuse.
But
Lagos,
what excuse do they have? Because in the east,
no. I agree with you.
industrial
No.
cities like Nnewi,
I
Aba,
agree
and
with you,
Onitsha.
Ramsey. Ramsey, I agree with you. But I'm saying that when people say the one in Lagos is Yoruba Kaba, even the one in Lagos is being controlled by the North. So I don't even know. So where they came up with this tribal, Yoruba people they stopped this one there. The one in that you said that Obasanjo stopped in
Calabar.
Calabar, for instance. Yes, they could have complained to him, but it's to get the one in Lagos back on track, right? To be the dominant one. But it's still being controlled by the North. So it's not, like I said before, it's not, let's focus on the class. Like this is the thing. North is more like a feudal system. We all know that. It's a feudal system. So of course the British they're gonna support them more because it kind of follows their royal kind of bullshit. They're gonna be more aligned with them anyways. So if you want to break the system, focus on your so-called elites.
Yeah, we can focus all we want.
Yeah, those are
That is not to cause a disruption.
Hey, 1 second. Let's to Nigel. Go ahead, to Nigel. And guys, make sure you hit the like button to come to the chat room. Please hit the like button. Go ahead, to Nigel.
Yeah, and thanks for having me. And yeah, about this, the way they are developing the country. I think was it Gazdemov said something about continuing the dominion of Her Majesty or something like that. I've been wondering this in the recent times about. It's like our countries are kept strong enough not to collapse and weak enough never to fully industrialize. And that this seems to be a pattern, and maybe we are missing the point. Some of all these people will keep claiming that they are in charge. Their objective is maybe very different from what we think, because Western people here are corrupt too, but they are corrupt in a different way. And I don't want people to be seeing this as a north and south thing. They're not. If you look at the pie, if you describe a nation as a pie in Nigeria, the south has a lot of slice of it already. Somebody already said, "Oh, the engineers are Southerners. These are Southerners." All the major industries are in the south. Lagos, Port Harcourt, Anambra, all the key, some of the most advanced parts of Nigeria are in the south, and the Yoruba generally control the finance. In business, the Igbos corner the whole thing. So what is left for the north other than governance? You see why they grab onto that. And the last time they lost out from governance, we had a civil war when Tafawa Balewa was taken out. And the Igbo man came in, instead of him to do the due diligence, the right thing by taking care of the coup plotters. It didn't happen, and blah, 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 civil war happened. So this is the pattern. This is the inheritance we have now. And when we say that the North is doing this and doing that, we forget that they are the poorest part of the country. It doesn't have anything to do with tribalism. It just has something to do with people wanting to control the areas that they can control. And these things are happening organically based on competition, stripes and all the rest of it. So it has nothing to do with this in tribalism. Hold on for a second.
All right, go ahead, Wilford. Go ahead, Wilford. Let Wilford real quick. Go ahead, Wilford.
Oh, thanks. Hi, everyone. It's an honor to be here, like always. Actually, I called to talk about the topics before Nigerians. Sorry to say that, but hijacked the show talking about Nigeria because, as always, and I'm sorry to have to complain, but it was exactly the same the last time when Ebube Ekoli was there. It was a show about Mali, and I was really pissed off because you guys, Nigerians, and I'm sorry to have to call you out, but once again, you called in and you hijacked the show, and nothing was said about Mali, even though Mali, literally, that's the reason why I'm calling here, is gonna determine what direction Africa is gonna take in the next 30 years. Guys, sorry to have to say this, but I'm going to read the title of the show, right? It's written, "Is Accra becoming too expensive? Mali speaking out the French, and Kenya out of money." There's nothing about Nigerian politics. I mean,
we kind of freestyle and go to different directions. I don't mind.
Yeah, but Dynast, I know it's not even my show. I shouldn't be saying this, but it's your show, so you decide, right? So, but I've been like quietly listening for half an hour. People talking about Nigeria, whether it's not even in the topic. And there's a moment where, sorry, but it's your responsibility because you have such a big show and it's a unique opportunity to talk about what's going on in the whole continent. And if every time you have any topic, Nigerian comes and hijack the show and talk about Nigeria, no, I'm sorry. Then nothing else is going to be talked about. Literally. You've been talking about Nigerian politics for half an hour. I don't know anything about Nigerian politics.
Let's talk about Mali then.
Let's talk about Mali. Go ahead. Let's talk about Mali. Go ahead.
The thing is, and I saw you, sir, to Niger, and I'm sorry I'm going to be a little tough against you, but I called, I didn't want to call in the beginning, but I'll show you face. I said, hey, I got to come in. Because the last time by the show of Ebube Ekoli, you said stuff that I absolutely didn't like, that I'm pretty sure lots of French-speaking people of African descent didn't like when what you said. Because you basically said that people in Mali and young people in Africa, generally speaking, should stop overthrowing the governments and go by the rules of the ECOWAS, because otherwise it would be chaos in Africa and nothing would work, and so on and so on. The problem that I have with this is the fact that people from new generation, sir, are the very reason why we are in the situation we are now. in Africa because you always played by the rules with European powers, and it didn't bring anything to Africans. We've been playing, and I say we, I'm in the diaspora basically, but people of African descent, we've been playing by the rules of games of people who don't respect their own rules. And when you look at ECOWAS today, if you look at least what's going on in French-speaking Africa, what they did to Mali, right, was first declared illegal, not by any kind of administration, but there is basically an economical institution in West Africa that is named in French UEMOA. In English, it is named West African Economic Monetary Union. And this official institution said few days ago, listen please, that the sanction, the embargo that the ECOWAS country, right, made against Mali is illegal. According to international law, it is illegal to make an embargo on a country that had no coast, no access to the sea. Anyway, in the text of ECOWAS, it is written that none of this country could basically punish Mali, but they did. And when someone like Tunisia comes here and say to all the people who are misinformed that the country should play by the rules imposed by ECOWAS, it is bullshit. Because if you play basically, if you go to the way that Tunisia is talking about, Africa is never going to be free. And I'm going to basically let you speak now, but I just wanted to basically say, to sum up, saying that what is going on in Mali as we speak is going to determine the future of Africa, especially French-speaking Africa, for the next 30 years, because what these guys are doing, they installed a Pan-African government that is fighting literally against the whole goddamn Western world alone. And that's the reason why they had to ally with Russians. And basically, they're fighting against ECOWAS. And what you have, people here have to understand is the fact that ECOWAS nowadays is lost credibility by the people of most of the country in the region. And the fact is that all the head of states from the ECOWAS, I don't know what's going on in Nigeria, but in French-speaking Africa, all these dudes are basically sellouts who know they're going to be overthrown sooner or later by their own people. And no one talked about is, you talked about Nigeria, but what we're living as we speak now, at this time in Africa, it is something I've never seen before, and I didn't expect to see before maybe 15 or 20 years. But what is going on in French-speaking Africa is not only the beginning, it's going to change the face of the continent. And I just wanted to say, so I'm going to stop there, that tonight,
brother, I agree with you 1,000,000%. But what you just said is correct, and that's not just it. I'm saying my last sentence. I know I'm saying my last sentence.
Come on.
So brother Winfred, I just want to tell you, I agree with you 1,000,000%. The truth is, like I said, Dynast, if you get a chance, post the links I just posted in the private chat. You can put it for everyone. They can read those documents themselves. None of those African countries were given independence. They were all told to continue the Queen's dominion. And what Brother Wilfred just said is correct. All these African leaders are puppets of secret societies and lodges in Europe.
Okay, so I think sometimes guys them up, you need to at least give somebody a bit of courtesy, okay? Regarding, saying that, our generation wrecked the Africa, I actually am reacting that way because of what I saw in our generation. We had so many coups. And we saw the hell it wrecked on Africa. And it took ECOWAS, ECOMOG to wrest control of West Africa to get it back in shape. So when I'm saying those things, I'm saying it from experience. We have had coups before. It didn't lead us anywhere. It led to anarchy, especially in Nigeria. So I'm saying that from experience, and I understand the instinct. When all the military coups came in Nigeria, they welcomed them like saviors. But they never solve anything. Sooner or later, there has to be rules. And we have to stick to it because stability is what Africa needs. Anarchy in a continent that is so diverse, guess what? With all the hyenas circling us, we go and start acting and tearing each other apart. That's not going to get us anywhere.
Okay, Tunisia. So I've listened to you, but You say rules. We have rules. Look at Cote d'Ivoire. Ivory Coast had a rule. Now Ouattara came in. He changed their constitution to run a third term. So why do we have rules when you can, someone could change the rules?
That's what I said. See, I addressed that. I actually said ECOWAS, and something tells me that ECOWAS is going to pay attention to that, because if a civilian government comes into office and changes these rules so that they can maybe even serve for life, that is a form of coup, and that should be recognized as such, because that kind of stuff is the kind of stuff that leads to the actual military coup takeover. Because when people elect you, they expect you to serve in good faith, follow the constitution, and hand over. But if you see these silly leaders and selfish leaders that come in and want to do this stuff, they are undermining the state. And the ECOWAS organization and the African Union too should recognize it for what it is. It's a coup, because they are using the power of the state to influence the outcome. If you want to change the election, you want to campaign for people to serve lifetime, campaign for it when you are not in office.
Sir, that's the problem I have with what you say. You don't know the topic. You don't know what's going on in this country in West Africa. Because you're talking about principle, general principle. Of course, as a principle, no one is for military coups. But in the French-speaking part of Africa, what Malians did, is to eject the corrupt politicians, the corrupt system that had the appearance of democracy, to put on military to first solve the problem that is priority at the time that we're speaking. It means they have to get rid of goddamn terrorists. Before 2012, basically, I have to make a short summary, right? French people attacked Libya in 2011, if I remember well. They attacked Gaddafi because he was, it was the excuse, right? He was attacking his own population. Normally, they were supposed only to get humanitarian help to Libyan people, but they expanded basically their mandates from the UNO, and they attacked, backed up by the American and the British. As a result, French gave weapons to every group that claimed to be against Gaddafi. But amongst these people, there used to be people who belonged to terrorist group and who then, after the war, went down south to the Sahel states to destabilize them. And they went directly to Mali. So when Mali was attacked in 2012 by jihadists and terrorists, these people were armed, and they were basically, the attack was the direct result of the French attack of Libya first, right? So they went down south and attacked Mali. At the time, only 10% of the Malian territory was under the control of these groups. French people began the so-called operation, I will say in French, Operation, what was the name before?
You can say in French.
Yeah, but I can't remember the name. It was Operation, I can't remember. The operation had a name, and it was supposed basically to last a few years and go. It lasted until this year. But guess what? In the meantime, these jihadists went from controlling 10% of the territory to control now 2/3 of the goddamn Malian territory. And you have people in the ECOWAS, right, who are backed by the French, who obey the French government and all the Western government, who want to force Malian people who only control 1/3 of their territory. These people, amongst whom most of them are basically corrupted politicians, like Alassane Ouattara, who violated of Ivory Coast. This guy violated his own constitution to be able to make a third mandate, right? This dude, who was brought to power by France through a coup, who sent his opponent in the International Justice Court in Hague, right, in the Netherlands, for 10 years. And these guys were acquitted totally last year. This dude is now in ECOWAS telling people from Mali who made a revolution to get the fuck out these corrupted politicians that they had, who didn't do anything to protect the Malian territory, who let terrorists get 2/3 of their territory, who didn't do anything but stealing the money of their people. French people are now telling, and the ECOWAS are now telling to Malian people that they should get out their military people who took the power at their demand, right? Just because of the principle of democracy. And you have people like Niger who are come here on this show, and that's the reason why, sorry, I'm so pissed off, who are telling to people that, oh no, we should respect democracy, right? And do as the Western country want us to do in order to install another puppet in the power. And Malian people said, no way, no more. And you have to.
So, Nigel, what do you think that the Malian people should have done?
That's democracy.
What I see was
don't
that
know. Mali is not Nigeria.
Let me say something. Let me say something about it.
Let me please finish. I even saw someone in the chat. One stupid person said, "Oh, Wilfred is an anti-Nigerian." No, I'm not anti-Nigerian.
Wilfred, don't pay attention to these people in the chat. A lot of Nigerians are stupid themselves.
Man, so are Cameroonians, because basically I'm of Cameroonian descent, by the way. I often say that Cameroonians are simply French-speaking Nigerian. We have the same kind of people, unfortunately. But no, it's not just to say that, yeah, no, there are other topics than Nigerian that should be talked about. And I'm sorry to say this, but what's going on in Mali? And I'm telling you, even though you don't like French-speaking people, just look at a freaking map. Whether you like it or not, most of the country in West Africa are French-speaking. And what's going on in Mali is that these government, right, not only a junta, right, was confirmed by huge manifestation by the people to back them up, right? They're sustained by the population, and these guys are here to re-establish the Malian state against the will of the ECOWAS, that are only composed of freaking corrupted sellouts. And it is a shame that someone like Niger is coming here to take.
Okay, I think you've said enough.
We got to respect
some of the things you are saying doesn't bear resemblance to reality.
And you have to please consider it before.
First of all, the ECOWAS did not go against the government. Remember, they negotiated with the government. Can I say something? You can say whatever you like, but reality is not going to alter until you embrace it. They negotiated with the government, and the government reneged on the negotiation that the promise that they had with ECOWAS. That's what resulted in the sanctions. It's not the other way around. They just came in and they just went against them. Besides that, I'm also supporting the Malians. You have to remember, Mali is a country of 20 million people. There is about 400 million other West Africans waiting for another set of coup or level of instability. So leaders have to do what they need to do. The Malian government can go ahead and repair Mali. I'm hearing a lot of good things that he's doing, especially with the French and all the rest there. That's not stopping him from doing that, is it? But ECOWAS also has a right to hold up stability, because there has to be order. 400 million people go crazy in ECOWAS in West Africa right now. All the progress you have been dreaming about will go up in smokes.
But why don't they hold the same order for Nigeria? They haven't had any order in Nigeria, and then they want to tell Mali what to do. Does that make sense?
Nigeria is not a military regime. Nigeria is, for whatever you say about Nigeria is relatively contained. And the last thing they want is Nigeria going crazy there. Because, see, you have to admit stability. You have to admit stability is a good thing, isn't it?
No, stability is a good thing for you because you want to buy into the system. Speak for yourself.
But that's the thing. Some people are just anarchists. They don't understand that when you have any nation that has had all this problem, look at Syria, look at Ukraine. If you start having instability, you will never move forward. Africa has had so long of instability.
Sir, have you listened to what I said? 2/3 of the Malian territory is under control of jihadists. How do you want, in this context, organize an election that would be basically accepted by the rest of the people? They first have to get their territory back, and that's the reason why they need.
Then why did he agree to that in the first place? Why did he agree to that with ECOWAS? And secondly, I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong. That's for his country. But you have to admit that the other leaders have a right to do what they need to do too for stability. There are 400 and something million.
So where was these leaders when Mali's territory was being taken over? Where were these leaders?
Let's say they had their pants down. Either way, they are doing something now.
So Niger, you like to make excuses for people in power, man. It's bad. It's bad because you are not in power with them.
The people from ECOWAS
I don't know whether people
were
were around in the 90s and in the 80s. It's a nightmare. Coups everywhere.
These people from ECOWAS were nowhere to be seen. Now they're here because they are seeing that people of Mali are kicking literally all the imperialist
exactly
out of Mali. And this is the only reason why they're now coming out.
And brother, do you know why they're even more scared? Because Mali might redesign the African state, the concept of the borders, and those ECOWAS leaders are scared to death.
Absolutely.
What's going on? What's going on? We are all assuming. We are just assuming now that the Malian regime is
what's going on is
all these great things and utopia is going to come down. You don't know. I've seen military regimes come in with celebration and they live with anarchy.
You're talking about a country you don't even know. That's the problem I have. You're talking about a situation about French-speaking Africa you don't even know. You're talking on general term. What I'm talking about, what I basically, because as opposed to you, and I'm sorry to have to say this, right? I'm French-speaking, German-speaking, and English-speaking, and I take information from medias from all in all these languages, especially African sources. So when it comes
to
Mali and
this, how many military regimes that have taken over before in all Africa has left Africa in a better state before?
None of them, because all of those regimes were not taken over by the people. The clear difference between what's happening in Mali and what happened, the clear difference between what's happening. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Nobody in Nigeria, welcomed the first coup.
Okay, hold on. Let me interject. Let me interject. The difference between the Mali military, in quotation marks, regime versus the other military regimes is that they weren't sponsored by the West. Like, this is straight homegrown, Malian. We're taking back control of our government. The rest of these military regimes, they were sponsored by the West. You know, your boy Blaise Compaoré, whatever his name is, in Burkina Faso. Your boy in the Congo that took over Patrice Lumumba. What's his name? Help me out, somebody. Mobutu. That's the difference.
But you can actually see the Russians right next to this guy, and we all assume that there's no foreign power playing a role. Let's not kid ourselves here. These things are not. Mali's security forces are 20,000 strong for a 20 million nation. These people are being controlled too. Let's not make the mistake. And personally, the way I look at it is that if he's doing the right thing by his country and there is progress, that is a very good thing. But what you, Wilfred, is if you support your leader, watch what he's doing with his military. Watch the size. If he's not increasing it, he's still keeping your country as a kind of a protectorate of a superpower. It's not looking for your independence.
But don't you find it interesting that all of a sudden, now that Mali's coup has happened, right? For the first time, ECOWAS and all these Western governments want to sanction Mali. They didn't sanction any other military coup that happened in West Africa. Why?
They took some of them out. They removed Sierra Leone this military coup. That's Abacha went and overthrew that regime. They took out this thing. Yeah, Abacha did. Took out this thing. So it's not, that one went beyond sanction. Even the Guinea-Bissau one that almost happened, they sent troops there to go and slow that one down. So it's not straightforward. Some things people are saying, they don't understand the dynamics that is going on when it comes to the bigger picture. When 400 and something million people are hanging behind, and we are talking about one country, and you say they should not enforce any rules, that is not fair. I believe
so why did ECOWAS go and enforce the rules when the terrorists was storming West Africa with Libya? After Libya fell, why didn't they enforce the protectorate of the land?
Sorry, Niger didn't listen to what I said. These rules that they enforced against Mali don't exist. Because I'm telling you,
that's technicality. They don't exist.
Let me talk. The West African Economic Monetary Union, for everyone who is interested, you can basically write this name, Google this name down, right? They said last week that the sanctions against Mali are illegal and they should be suspended because the sanctions that this head of state took are nowhere or written nowhere in any legislation of the ECOWAS. And you mean to tell me that they should, okay, there should be something, but then something that the rules of ECOWAS are saying. These do
If they
literally
break the rules, then they were going to remove it. If they break the rules, they will remove it. You see, and I support that they remove it. So I'm not saying that they should sanction this in Mali. I'm not for necessarily sanction, but all I'm saying is that there has to be rules. And this so-called general or official, this military guy that took over the government, he negotiated with people in good faith. He had an agreement. That's the only thing we know about him. First, he took over government. Wait. First, he took over government without anybody voting him in. Secondly, hold on. Let's not do this. Let's not do this.
The guy's not going to wait to make an election in that context. This is ridiculous.
Anybody can do the same thing without taking permission from him. So you have to understand, this is recipe for anarchy. He did that. He negotiated with ECOWAS and he reneged without consulting them. Just change it like from 3 months to 5 years. What do you think is going to happen with that?
Do you really think you can free your country in 3 months?
Then why did he agree then to that?
Do you really think you can free your country in 3 months?
So to Niger, when Biafra agreed to Aburi Accord,
why did he agree to that?
Okay, so to Niger, during Aburi Accord, Shebi Nigeria government agreed to Aburi Accord. When they now got back to Nigeria, they went against the Aburi Accord. Shebi?
Exactly. Yes.
No, it's not exactly. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. He may have agreed and changed his mind.
Okay, let's say he changed his mind. What did the Nigerian government do when they did that? They released other proposals and they came up with something that is actually palatable, but the situation was already out of control. However, if you look at this situation, he just came up with 5 years, from 3 months or 2 months to 5 years. Overnight.
They never talked about 3 months. That's the reason why I was talking about the fact you don't know your topic. They never ever talked about
the election was supposed to be held in February this year.
The least they talked about was 18 months. And that's where they are now. They're standing on 18 months minimum. But they said in the beginning they need at least 3 to 5 years
to the election for February.
The territory of jihadists.
Who forced him to set the election for February?
Sorry, to Niger, can you even explain any positives that the ECOWAS has provided in West Africa? Because for most people who are...
Hey, hold on. I can tell you right now. Visa-free travel by air. Now, they don't enforce it by road. By road, you got to pay. They never money by road, but by air, visa-free.
ECOWAS helped end the civil war in Nigeria.
So that's one.
End the civil war in Sierra Leone. They took out the military regime in Sierra Leone. They took out a dictator in Gambia. So they have been quite active in so many, and compared to any other regional organization, they are the most active, actually. I'm not even sure many European organizations are this active. So you have to give ECOWAS their credit that they are not just sitting by and allow their region just go completely crazy without trying to do something about it. They actually are more active. Name one organization in the world that is that active.
If you had anything positive from ECOWAS to Nigeria, that's the reason why I was saying what I was saying in the beginning. This is because of people like you that.
See, I just asked you to name one organization in the world that is that active. It tells you that this organization has teeth.
For sellouts to change, all of a sudden they do the right thing. Most of these people, 90% of them, and I'm not gonna go down the list, right? Because it would last an hour. Every of them, even Akufo-Addo that I had respect for in the beginning, when you look at what happened with Mali, you can see who they're working for. They're working for France. Period.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what the people in Africa broadly is seeing. And that's the reason why these people didn't yet impose the same sanction on Burkina Faso and Guinea-Conakry. Because they know that if they do that, one of their heads is gonna. Oh man, I'm not gonna. You know what I mean?
Niger likes to maintain the same systems of Western supremacy and Western structures that have oppressed us.
Absolutely. No, but look.
Hold on. Let me say my
piece. In defense of Tu Niger, I understand where he's coming from. I think there are people from a different generation who have seen anarchy. And they're not really too fond of it, But I think for people from our generation, we see the dysfunction that the previous status quo has done to us, and we don't really see any stability in French colonization 2.0, 3.0. And I think too Niger doesn't seem to understand that things are not working right now. I think you may see things as stable, but they're not stable. We don't control our economy. We don't control our politics. We don't control anything. I don't understand how you can be okay with that.
See, let's explain something. Even if things are not progressing fast enough, but believe me, when you have anarchy, it goes backwards. Look at Syria; is about 20, 30 years backward now. Look at what's the name? Ukraine. Within how many months? Look at how far backward they've gone. When you have anarchy, then you know what it means. And I've lived through it. And I'm telling you that these things don't give you any benefit. Your whole generation will be wiped out. You will spend your whole generation fixing everything that has just been messed up.
Yeah, but to Niger, here's the problem. I get what you're saying 100%. No one wants bloodshed. No one wants anyone to die. But at the same time, the same energy you're using to prevent these type of instabilities, I think we should use that energy to actually prevent the conditions that cause the instability in the first place. So if ECOWAS has the
I'm with you on that 100%. And like we were discussing earlier on about taxing and this, and I believe that there are ways you can do it so that politicians cannot get their hands on this money. You can get money, put it in an account, and let the account be transparent. Everybody should know where the money is going, where it's coming from. And there are ways to do this thing. We should be heading in that direction, not thinking about, let's tear the whole thing down. It's not going to work because there are wolves waiting for us to do that so that they take advantage and wreck our continent for us.
Absolutely. I get where you're coming from, but can somebody explain to me in Ivory Coast how there is this mulatto guy who's half French, born in France, half Ivory Coast, who's married to a blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady, controlling all of Ivory Coast for a third term? Can somebody explain to me how you're supposed to deal with someone like that?
Actually, his name is Alassane Ouattara. He's not mulatto. The worst part in this is the fact that this guy is a descendant of a very prosperous kingdom that used to be in northern Ghana.
He says he's mulatto. I saw his. I went onto his Wikipedia. He says that he was born in Paris to a white mother, a white French mother, and a African father who's Ivory Coast. And his wife is actually very white. She's got blonde hair. She's got blue eyes.
He's white. His wife is white. Well, he's not a mulatto, Alassane Ouattara. I don't think so. But anyway, as you said, right? First of all, this guy, Alassane Ouattara, when he was not elected, actually. French people said that the election was rigged. Normally, it was his opponent named Laurent Gbagbo who won the election, right? But French people at the time, the French president was Nicolas Sarkozy, said, no, it was rigged. They accused basically Laurent Gbagbo, so the other guy, to basically to have cheated the election and to have also slaughtered people in the process, right? So the French army intervened, attacked the presidential palace, arrested Gbagbo, and put Alassane Ouattara and gave Alassane Ouattara the power, right? So in this condition, this guy basically took the power. One, then he had 2 terms, and at the end of his second term in 2020, this guy basically used to put a puppet candidate who would be his successor, a dude named Gon Koulibaly, an old dude, once again, sorry, right, who had heart problems. The guy basically died from a heart attack in the campaign, and Ouattara said, okay, now that he's dead, I'm going to modify the constitution to have a 3rd term, right?
What are the people in Africa doing?
Yeah, man, I don't know. And the most ironic in this is this, right? Macron, before Ouattara, basically, when Ouattara was not a candidate and was his puppet candidate was there, Macron said, okay, I will never back up any candidate for a 3rd term. Ouattara won. Macron didn't say anything and greeted Ouattara at the Palais de l'Élysée, so the French presidential palace, without ever mentioning the fact that this guy violated his constitution to get a third term. But, and I still have to attack you, Tunisia. You have people like Tunisia who are going to tell us, younger generation, that we should accept, right, the rules of people like this.
See,
This is what Fela was saying in "Teacher, Don't Teach Me Nonsense." That
Right.
is funny
No,
how
but
when it's time for democracy, yeah, go ahead.
ask
the
to Niger, how would you deal with that? How are you
Okay.
supposed to deal with that situation?
Which precise situation are we referring to here?
Ivory Coast situation, which is very common all across West Africa.
You mean where leaders overstay their term in office, or
Well, not just overstay. Obviously, this is the French play at hand.
see? I agree with you 100% on that one. That these leaders are a problem. Question now is how do you get rid of them, or how do you bend their hands?
You have
Because
to do exactly like Malian people do. You have to make a freaking
okay,
revolution
then
to
do
change
that.
the system.
Then when you do that, you know what you do next? You negotiate with the regional organization. They tell them
No,
what your plan is. Hold on, you tell them what your plan is and what you want to do for the next so and so when you hand over to civilian regime. Because look at the whole world, even regimes where that like China, Russia, all of them, they are governed by kind of civilian these regimes. You describe when you are going to change your this thing and stick by it. Then you
But
will see
who
the
did
light.
Russia consult with before they invaded Ukraine? They didn't consult with anyone. Why do Africans have to consult with the so-called ECOWAS and stuff like that? I
Because
think
ECOWAS is a regional
I get what you're
organization.
saying too, Niger. I get what you're saying about the so-called stability. But I think the biggest fear is that the West does not want Africa to redesign and restructure itself, because these colonial borders have been part of our problem, and the West, including ECOWAS, is fearful of a restructure of these borders.
And you think taking over as military regime is going to solve that problem. That is not going to solve the problem, because the truth is, if you look at what is happening in the past, it leads to us being taken advantage of. Because you see, if you understand the power differential between African countries and European countries, you won't even try to throw a candle on anything to set it on fire,
Explain
because
why
they
you
can
say
come
that.
in there because they can come in there and exploit the division and wreck your land. By the time you finish, Congo will seem like a sympathy case.
But they're already
they're
doing that.
already doing
But
this.
that's why I'm
They're
telling
already
you
doing
now.
it.
But I'm
Thank
telling you
you.
that Congo is going
So
to
you're
seem like
saying,
a
okay,
sympathy
they're
case.
raping us now,
Probably
but
will be worse.
if you're saying they're raping us now, but now they'll just rape us without the condom and Vaseline. That's basically
Yes,
what you're saying.
in other words, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you need to move in a different direction. If you want to deal with them now, you need to figure out a way to do it without them being able to take advantage of you. That is what I'm saying. If like we are talking about Nigeria and when we're talking about taxing system, if the government refuses to move, people find different ways to generate this in change. I've seen cases in Nigeria where people took it onto themselves to this in construct roads. When the government was telling them to stop it, the local people went there and said, "No way, you are not doing that." You see what I mean? There are ways you can do these things without necessarily because you have to be careful. It's like, when you're trying to keep your house up, Africa, that's how it is right now. We're trying to keep our house up while the hyenas are circling around the house. Do you think that's a good time to take your hands off the roof of the house and start fighting? If you try that, the hyenas will move in, and then by the time it is done, the house will not be yours again. This is why I'm saying you have to be careful when you want to move. Think about the way your strategy that you're going to use. If it leads to anarchy, be careful.
I get what you're saying, but you see, this is the same type of logic that was told to African Americans before they started to revolt against the apartheid or so-called Jim Crow system that was occurring to them in America. They were told,
What?
no, 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 don't resist, don't resist. If you resist, you have to do it in a peaceful way. And people like Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, and all these
Absolutely.
guys, they started to fight against it. Whether it was physical confrontation or non-violent confrontation. So there has to be a change. You cannot keep telling people, okay, hold up the house, because what you're saying is the collective good. And this is why I've always said it goes back to African culture. Yes, in African culture, we believe in a collective good, but you cannot tell people to believe in a collective good if they're not getting benefits from that collective.
I think what you don't see is what is happening slowly. Now, Africa is changing. Kenya is manufacturing microchips. Nigeria is manufacturing warships. We have a continental free trade agreement. Africa has a defense pact. We are going towards a common passport. You see, structurally, there are some of all these things I mentioned just now. Kwame Nkrumah will kill to have one of them on his tombstone. And these things are happening behind the scenes and changing the structure of of Africa. And we are not seeing it because it's happening slowly. I don't blame people. This is how life works. But I can tell you that whenever I go to Nigeria, I see improvements all the time. I see improvement, but Nigerians don't see it. Even when I went to Ghana, Ghanaians are some of the biggest haters of their governments. And yet, when I went to Ghana, I said, you guys have come to Nigeria, so you see what the country is like. That frustrates you.
Once again, you're talking about English-speaking Africa, not French-speaking Africa. In French-speaking Africa, the situation till the time when my parents left Africa and came here to Europe, the situation has worsened to the point where the younger generation have nothing to lose. And that's the reason why they do what they gotta do.
Brother Winifred, I want you to check.
Actually, you know who said that? You know who actually said that?
Please understand me. Let me just say this quickly. Understand this. I don't know why you keep saying I'm thinking like that. I am not against you people taking over. I'm not against you people taking over.
Yeah, you know who actually said that? You know,
this is not the same.
Go back to Africa is a YouTube channel who travels between most African countries. He's been to East Africa as well as West Africa. He did a really short video not too long ago about his travels in West Africa, and he compared the two. And he said that, in his honest opinion, West Africa was far behind than East Africa. And he noticed that what the French colonization has done to West Africa is that it's underdeveloped, and to the point where, he was
France Afrique.
And to the point where he said he saw a dramatic economic difference between East and West. He was surprised to see West Africa to be so behind than East Africa. And the only reason why
I agree with that point. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is that I'm not even against the changes that this leader is making in Mali. I'm saying that when you want to do it in a way that doesn't lead to instability. He had an agreement with people. He created that situation that led to that instability. I'm not against Malians taking over the country. That's exactly what I want. I actually want him to start recruiting a lot of people into his military, because you know what? Mali has got 20,000 soldiers. Guess how many soldiers this in Algeria bordering Mali has got? 700,000. That is the difference between how we Africans see ourselves.
Do you know what's going on in Mali right now? They're basically rebuilding their army. And this is the reason why they called the Russians, because Mali has been since very long time in contact with Russians. And basically, whether you like it or not, no matter what's going on now in Ukraine, one of the reasons why Russia has so much support in Africa is because Russia has been in the good side of the African Revolution the whole time. And Russia, as opposed to France, France spent 9 goddamn years in Africa, in Mali, and the situation in Sahel worsened to the point where, and that's the reason why, once again,
this guy is gaslighting me. I just told you I'm not against. You are gaslighting me here. I'm not against Malians doing what they are doing. I'm just saying they should not do it in a way that leads to the destabilization of 400 million people too.
What are you talking about, destabilization? Have you listened to what I said?
Do you know how many coups that's happening in West
Africa?
Malian
territory is occupied by jihadists, and
Niger is saying that basically if
what are you talking about?
Wilfred, I think what Niger is trying to say, what he's trying to say is that because these regional blocks are so close together, the minute you have a one coup, it turns into a domino effect. And now, if you have, for example, refugees fleeing parts of French-speaking West Africa, where will they go? They will typically flee into so-called English-speaking West Africa.
What's his solution then? What is?
No, hold on, wait. So wait, I want to ask Winifred a question. Winifred, I posted the so-called Nigerian and Ghanaian independence document. It doesn't have the word independence or freedom on it. It's in the private chat. I'm hoping, Wilfred, if you can help us find the documents that the French gave these French West African countries during their so-called Day of Independence. I'm willing to bet if you translate it from French, it doesn't have anything like the word independence on it.
I never saw these documents, but in Pan-Africanist African channels, it is said that basically the independence was factice. There is no real independence. And that's the reason why France is basically present in all these countries. But basically, to answer what you just said, I have to say that it is too late. The domino effect is already there. And people like Tuniger are going to whine later, but it is already there. In the whole French
Again,
speaking.
gaslighting me.
Listen to what
To
I'm
Niger,
talking about.
this doesn't
Listen,
affect
fact
doesn't
is,
affect Nigeria.
well,
He
maybe
could.
it could.
To Niger, it's already there. Look, we have
It's
the
already
herdsmen
there.
and Boko
That's what I mean.
Haram. The same terrorists that took over Mali are there doing what they're doing in the
Okay,
north
yes,
of
that is
Nigeria.
true. What did you think I advocated for that? My problem is that we, our people, we are not taking control of our territories. We should have been recruiting a lot more people. Nigeria should be going to a million.
Recruit people with what money? That's what I'm trying to tell you. See, look,
We
this
don't
is
need
what no one.
money. The money is already in Nigeria. Let me tell you something. Nigerians, every Nigerian houses have iron bars on their doors, windows, gates.
Yeah,
And
we're not talking about that. I'm talking of the
hold on.
government to Niger. The
Why do you
government
see,
of
are we
Nigeria is
children?
broke.
Let me tell you something. We are not children. The money is on the ground. Nigeria generates this in $500 billion every year. Don't come and tell me Nigerians don't have money. Africans have money in their pockets.
$500 billion not in revenue, in sales and goods and services, not in revenue.
Yeah, but that's my point. What do you think sales are? Somebody's
No,
making money.
no. It's sales in terms of goods that are exchanged. We're talking of direct internal revenue. There's a key difference. So, for example,
I'm talking about government income. I'm talking about money that is in people's pockets.
No, but that's but you can't talk about money that's in people's pockets and you're talking about the state. The state for any African state is broke. Yeah, because so then how can they defend their territories if they don't have the funds?
You just said it yourself earlier on during the conversation that the state doesn't have any way of the Nigerian state doesn't have a backup of the people that it can use to leverage more funding from these international lenders.
Not international lenders, even just local, like for example, pension funds to float bonds.
The point remains. So they don't have that to leverage. The reason why is because one, the people don't trust the state. They will not give the state money when the state wants it. These people spend a lot of money. If you tell Nigerians now, do you know how much it will take to recruit about from their salaries and their uniform and the few things soldiers need? Do you know how much it will take to recruit about 500,000 of them? Nigerians donating about 2,000 naira every month. That is barely $10. And yet, if you tell Nigerians to do that, they'll say, "Oh no, I'm not going to do that." But yet, these same people will spend. You know how much they pay for estate levy? I pay almost 10,000 naira every month. Then I will the gates. You have to have your metallic gate. You have to have your metallic doors. You have to protect yourself. And even with all that, you still get kidnapped. You still have all these.
So move out of the estate. Move out of the estate and get some juju and work with your juju.
Let's hold on one second. We got brother Emmanuel. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Yeah. Like what Wilfred or to Nigeria said. None of you are wrong. Like I will say, like Mali, Cameroon, because right now nobody is saying what Paul Biya is doing in Cameroon. The whole lot of the French, the English-speaking part, they are out of their state. They are living in the capital, which is very expensive for them to live. They still allow them to host the Nations Cup. Like in Mali, French government, most of all these Francophone country, French government is taking over 500 billion from these people every year. Nobody knows when they've started or when they're going to stop. So the ECOWAS on the other side are not doing anything. They are just there. The house, the building they are using for ECOWAS building is built by China. So what are they doing? So what Mali is kind of doing now, they're trying to fight themselves out of this, bottleneck system of French, using them, abusing their citizens, raping most of them. They're not going to show this in the media. So what are other African countries like Nigeria, big brothers are doing? They're not doing anything. They just kept quiet. They're busy, living Western life, doing all kind of rubbish they want to do. So if you look at our brother or other neighboring countries, you will not see Ghana trying to help Nigeria for Boko Haram, for example. They would like to be talking all kind of jollof issue where they have more problem at stake to address. Okay, if you look at Mali, for example, if you really want to check Malians, Mali in the African space, these are the people that created Africa, if you want to check it. If you look at Mamoussa from Mali, most of his book are what they are using, most of all these philosophers, they've changed everything and quadrupled it to become theirs. Nobody is saying it. They've burned most of all their books, they've changed everything, now they've labeled it to themselves. Okay, Mali are there. It's only Russia that is trying to help them, to force away these deities that call themselves the cartel that is French, that is controlling all the economy of them. Okay, the money they wanted to introduce, why did Nigeria pull out? Why did most of them pulled out that they don't want the money they want to create?
The regional currency.
Yeah, so that the 14 African currency, the 14 African country can have freedom. They gave them independence, but politically, that they did not give them the financial independence. They are there suffering. People are dying. Why will French country still leave their currency that they are not using? They are not using euro. They allow the people to be using CFA. None of them. Okay, Nigeria is a big country. I'm in Nigeria. They are living fine, but they don't care. If these people are there, they have many Malians smuggling themselves, trying to come to Nigeria to work. They are not well documented and all that. But these are our people. Okay, now, when you have a stubborn child in the house, anytime he makes noise, you want to beat him in front of the public people. No, you have to correct this thing. You have to tell French people to leave 14 African countries that they are manipulating every year. There is a president in France after Sarkozy said that if French people should go away from Africa, they're going to become a third world country. Okay, why are they not leaving? Okay, now Putin has stopped them from using. Check how much is gas or petrol in UK, in Italy, in Germany. Everywhere is very high. Now Britain is now offering Nigeria that they're going to help them to evaluate the steel industry for 2 million. They're going to do it for free just to evaluate it. Maybe they will come and build it because they know that Russia and Ukraine are not going to come. USSR built those stuff for them. Now they want to come in a funny way. America is now building the biggest embassy
in Nigeria,
in a Atlantic in the world, not in the world.
Me paranoid, man.
So that's you see what all these people are doing.
They are using right next to that water there.
Yeah, they are using brain. They are using brain now to come back to Africa because they know they don't have anything. But 14 African countries are struggling. Go to France, you see, they don't care about the black people there. You think, okay, if French people, they are taking our money. There is a prime minister in Italy, they call Salvini. Anytime the migrant wants to leave from Italy to France, the French government will return them back to Italy. Now, the guy told them, you listen up, we Italians, we don't have anything that we took from Africa, right? But you people are taking 500 billion for these people. Why is it that the few handful people that want to cross to your country for a refuge, you want to return them back? Okay, why are they doing that? So you see, Wilfred know what he's saying, you understand? These guys are dying slowly. These so-called hopeless ECOWAS that doesn't know what they are doing are there. It's only Russia that is trying to help these people because French know that if Russia back any African country, they can't say anything to them. What America did to Japan in Nagasaki,
World War II, yeah.
What they did, they were trying to threaten Russia. This is what we're going to do. They used atomic bomb, they blew a whole lot of them. What did they do? Okay, now they are not playing political game. Putin is trying to do the same thing. They are okay. What is UK, America doing, and other French, Germany? Have you seen this kind of war before? That you are giving people gun for what? to go and fight Russia. Can they fight Russia? Can Ukraine fight Russia? If Russia want to bring their machinery out, in 2 seconds, they're going to grind them. Everybody knows that. But America is giving them gun. Britain is selling gun. They are giving these people gun because they don't, these are their raw materials. They don't have anything. And when you find out what they used to do, this atomic bomb is coming from Niger. Niger has the mineral resources because a whole lot of us, we don't want to do the findings. We just come to UK, like me as a victim. We come here, we sit down. These people don't have nothing. Only what they have in their mineral resources is potato with pork meat. They don't have nothing. UK imports 98% of what they consume. They don't have nothing. Nigeria is a land that has so many things, but we use all the money to buy most expensive houses in London, and Mali is there suffering. Our neighbor, they are dying, they are lavishing, they are being punished by the machinery from France. Nobody is saying anything.
How about the Malians themselves? See, hold on. How about the Malians themselves?
Because Wilfred knows what he's saying. He's living in France. He knows what is going on in France. So Nigeria, as the big boy, has to stand up and fight and tell these people it is time for us to stop this madness. They should stop what they are doing.
They can't do it because our leaders are all puppets.
Yeah, but
that leader, I think Gas them up. You see, that's his name, Gas them up. Watch out. See, you have to understand that leader could have easily transitioned to a civilian regime. I've seen the Egyptian leader when he came to office as a military dictator. Before you know it, he became a civilian dictator very, very quickly. So there are ways this thing can be handled and maintain stability. Both sides have let the ball down. ECOWAS and the leader of Mali, not the Malian people, not the need to get rid of the French and get rid of and improve their country. It's that stability for me is very, very important, because if you don't have stability, you have anarchy. You're not going to grow. This generation, I don't want another generation to be lost. My generation saw things from 1980 when I was growing up, as a young child, till by the time Babangida left office, he wrecked the country. Until today, we are still recovering from it. So
the problem is that you're talking once again about your generation. Times have changed.
Today is not different.
This is not, oh man.
Wilfred, wait. See, in New York, in New York, Prince Berners can testify to this. You understand? In Chicago, Illinois, they kill more people. They kill sporadically. They're not going to show it on the news. They have rickety train stations. You come to UK, it's the most dirtiest country in the world. So they're not going to let people die in Africa and let the remaining one enjoy the benefit. We cannot keep quiet and say, no, what happened? People don't want to die. They are killing people every day. There was a flight they saw in one of African country carrying little children. Who set them out? Where are they taking them to? If you look at the Mediterranean Sea, hold on.
You guys don't know. You don't know. That's why you're saying
this. I will tell you this for free. When you look at Mediterranean,
but Emmanuel, do you know what's funny? Tunaja was telling us last week. That is, you remember, Tunaja was the same one telling us that we should be men and we should defend. Now you have Willie Fred here telling us we should fight. Now Tunaja is saying don't fight. We challenged him, Emmanuel. We said, okay, Tunaja, you want to fight? Go and fight MC Oluomo and all those boys. He didn't want to. He said, oh, I don't want to fight. Now he said, which one is it to Niger? Are we going to fight or are we not going to fight?
You fight, don't fight stupid. If you must dig a hole and cover it again and call it fighting.
Who said they're fighting stupid?
They are fighting in Rwanda. Can you just stop gaslighting me?
You don't even
I'm not referring to your country. What is wrong with you? Do you have ears? I'm not referring. Everything is not about Mali, You
don't have ears.
I'm talking about what I'm just mentioned Rwanda, and you're thinking Mali. How do you even do that?
But not. But one second. Gas them up brought up a great point. So you were defending. No, hold on. You were defending women not respecting us because men won't stand up. Black men won't stand up and fight and take control and take control of our own destiny. So Molly does it, and now you're upset.
No, how am I upset? I just said like you see. This is what I call gaslighting. I just said. I'm not I'm not stopping the Malians from doing what they need to do to get their country right, but also do it in a way that is stable. And if the other side that is enforcing rules, enforce the rule, don't blame them. It's like saying, oh, I'm here to come rob and kill this thing, give the money to the poor, but when I get caught, the police shouldn't do their job. Otherwise, there will be more criminals on the road.
To Nigel, what fight is stable? There's never been a such thing as a stable fight. If there's a stable fight, let me put you in the ring with Mike Tyson.
I don't know what you are calling stable fight. I'm talking about the people that are enforcing the rules have a right to want to enforce stability, while the ones that want to unsettle it also has a right if they are doing it for the right reasons.
And that's the problem.
Both can be correct at the same time.
The rules that enforced or not that do not exist. And that's what I told in the beginning of the conversation. You didn't listen to me. The rules the rule that ECOWAS enforced do not exist, and this is the reason why last week I repeat it once again because you don't listen. The West African Economic Monetary Union
listening to you.
They said that the decision to sanction Mali with an embargo was illegal. What is not clear?
That is not my argument. Is that the argument we're having? We're having an argument about the principle of trying to enforce stability. You are going into details now. You are the one shuffling. Stop it. We are talking about the principle of trying to enforce stability. Now you are going into details. I don't. That is technicalities. I support what the Malian government is doing for its people in terms of getting rid of the French and dealing with the insecurity in their country. Personally, I want to see them recruit at least 200,000 soldiers to be able to secure the country. Let's hope he does that.
So, Niger, do they have the tax base to recruit 200,000 soldiers?
They have the people already. Why do you people keep imagining that? To
Niger, listen, I really think you're a smart guy. You really need to research the history of the state. How did states create soldiers? You have to go back to the Prussian or Prussia. You have to go back to Prussia. Right, modern day Germany. You have to go back to France. You have to go to the Machiavellian state. How did states create? Hold on, to Niger. How did states create soldiers? Do you know that the idea of public school, public education, was created for two reasons: to create factory workers and soldiers?
Okay.
And this all goes back to taxation.
Let me give an example you understand, since you relate to this more. The bandits, what did they need? Did they need the Western Union or World Bank to fund them? Did the bandits need it? Did the terrorists need that? The people can do it. The people are already living in the country. They earn a specific salary. Like Nigerian soldiers now, the corporal earns about 65,000. When you look at up the food chain, they will earn at most 100,000, 150,000. If you do the calculation with that, the people can fund it with the money they have in their pockets right now.
No, to Niger, that's wrong. You know why it's wrong? No, to Niger, you know why? Listen, I agree with you. Yeah, let's build up African defense. But the idea that we can fund it with the money that's in the people's pocket is wrong. Because first and foremost, that is the reason why most African militaries are still corrupt. And keep in mind, most African leaders are underfunding their military because they are scared of coups.
Because you're not listening to what I've said. When you want, they are scared of coups. But when you fund them through a way that the politician don't get the whole of it, the minister, all he has to do is sign the paycheck, this thing, and give the list of soldiers and put their pay grade, and the funds are transferred to these soldiers directly. You can create a system that the people can trust and take ownership. I've seen this happening in Ethiopia. When you give people ownership of their state, they are more likely to trust you and do things properly.
And that's what the Malians just did. They just took ownership of their state.
Oh my God! I don't want to insult you, but I've said it several times. I'm not against Malians.
We are not fighting here. What you are saying, like I said initially, we are all right, okay? But my point is this: not even Africans, we are not warlords. You understand? These are kings and queens, because when you look I was asking somebody today, I say, have you seen any British man that stays in the back of a car that has a personal driver? No matter how rich they are, they can't afford it. But when you go to this same Africa, we are all saying they don't have light, they don't have a nice educational system. Without African medical doctors, UK hospitals and American hospitals, even now in Saudi Arabia, they cannot survive. Okay, let's go back to this Pan-African payment and settlement system. Do you know what that implies? If someone from Mali want to pay you to Baba in Nigeria for a goods, you have to connect to UK or Germany. Somebody is sitting there to take $30, $40 before you can make your transaction. Is that supposed to be that? So people that are punishing us wisely are wanting us to say we cannot use military force to fight these people. We are not military people. We are not military minded people. These people know how to fight. We can't fight them. We can't fight any
Then if that is the case,
uprising.
we should pack up our load and just prepare for
any
extinction.
uprising for Africans to be creating more military people is going to cause problem. What we have to do is to follow the rules and regulations. All right. Let France leave African finance system alone. Let Africa manage their money. Let them manage their resources. Period. That's what Malians are fighting for. And this is the best fight any African country has ever fought since the creation of Africa. We have to fight these deities. They have to leave. What is France doing in Africa? You tell me, what are they doing there?
I agree with you 100% on that. I don't understand how. That's how I feel like I'm being gaslit here. I'm one of the first people that keep saying we need to strengthen our military. We need to recruit more people. This is why I keep giving the numbers in Mali. I'm watching that Malian regime to see whether he changes that, because that needs to change in Africa, especially black countries. This is not a North African problem. This is black countries. It's almost like you can't make it up. Look at Mauritania, Gambia, and this in Senegal. Mauritania, if you look at their military, it's more upgraded. That's more this in higher than that of Senegal. And yet Senegal's population is more than that of Mauritania. And the only difference is that Mauritania is being controlled by this in what they call them, like Arabs and all kinds of this in North Africans. That is the only difference. And Mauritania is 70% black. It's just that the people controlling it are not black. All the countries that are controlled by black people, their security posture is disgraceful.
No,
Nigerian soldier, it says one Nigerian. Let me give you this number. One Nigerian soldier is expected to defend 1,000 citizens. One Ghanaian soldier is expected to defend 1,800 citizens. And if you do that of Mali too, it's about 1,000 citizens too is expected to defend. What kind of country is that? That is not a country.
But that's parallel to the United States too, Niger. That's not.
The United States defends about 300 or 100 something. Actually, United States entire military is about about 2 million or so, or 1 point something million. That's a lot of people.
And how many people are in the United States? What's the population of the US?
300 million. I took that. That's the number I'm
Yes.
giving you.
No, so if you divide that.
Are you taking that technology? If you take that technology,
don't take the technology. Don't take the technology.
Still 300 and something citizens that they have to defend.
Okay, cool. So tonight, what you're asking for then is a military industrial complex in Africa. And keep in mind, there was the American president that warned Americans about this military industrial complex.
I can't believe you're saying that.
No,
see,
I don't
care
let me come in here, please.
Military industrial complex. If you don't know how to defend yourself, then it's almost like, you know what we are doing? If you outsource your survival to outsiders and foreigners, you've already given up your right to survive, because it's just as simple. Now you don't own your country, you might as well give them your country and let them take over. You are men. What are you designed for? The primary duty of a man, seriously, let's not forget this. The primary duty of a man is defense. First.
No, that's your duty. You have to speak for yourself.
Okay. If you say that is not it, then tell me what other duty a man was meant to do in this world.
Okay, let me come in here to Nigeria. The point is this: if you look at the military strength of America, they are not designed to defend the people. They are designed to conquer other nations. You understand? That's what they do. Because in the UK, if you say, like, people only use one adjective, Nigeria don't have police. Just you live in the UK, take your phone and call police, put it on speaker. Let's see how many minutes they're going to respond to you.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
1 hour, they're not going to turn up.
Okay, when the police fails,
1 hour, they're not going to come up. So if it happens in Africa, we're going to castigate it, blow it out of the roof. Oh, Nigeria police don't.
No, that's not the same actually. If there is violence here, they'll cordon off the whole area. If there is violence, if you call them for something simple, they will not show up. But if you call them for something violent, they will show up.
No, when you call Nigeria police or African police for something violent, they will show up. It's because the government did not empower them. Because if a British police take maybe one of their mentally ill on the street to one of the best hotels, say, oh, who is the manager of this Holiday Inn, for example, he's going to say, yeah, I am. He say, okay, can you put this person in a room? The manager is going to put that presumed customer in a room, because the police walked in. You know that he's going to come back and pay because they've given them the power to act on behalf of the citizens. But when it comes to Africa, the power is in a very few people's control. You see, like as big as Nigeria, people are giving Nigeria GDP for $500 billion. It's more than that. What they steal is going to blow your mind. Okay, look at the old jargon that people want to clamor for, that Tinubu should come to power. You can imagine that this same youth people is going to come out and say that dead man should become Nigeria. People are scared to speak. They say, oh, no, we don't want to die. Because Tinubu say he's a youth, he has nothing to offer. Tinubu cannot open an email address in 30 minutes. He can't. He doesn't understand nothing. He doesn't know anything about micro and micro. Nothing.
Let's not worry. Tinubu is not going to be president of Nigeria.
Yeah, no, you can't say.
No, I'm almost 100% confident.
You understand? I don't like him, and I'm not scared to speak against him. You know what I mean? So I'm not those kind of people that come and say,
why should he be scared?
Take your money.
The guy was not there when Nigerian
police is receiving 65,000 naira. What is 65,000 naira? I can make 65,000 naira quietly on my side hustle, very neat. That is not money. But the point is this: we Africans, this is the high time that we have to make our own meeting without any white man being in the room. We take decision. We put them on a tight corner. Not that when we want to make a meeting. No, now America is building one of the best whatever in Atlantic. We've not done it before. You know, Germany is going to come. France is going to come.
Our leaders.
But listen, Brother Emmanuel, see, look, this is why I agree with what Winifred is saying. The old generation, right? There's a divide between the youth and the older generation. For example, right now in Nigeria, they're trying to pass a law. There's a law that's being passed now. They said that if a Nigerian woman marries a white man, the white man will become a citizen of Nigeria. I find it interesting that they want to pass that law with all this divestment and swirling that is going on, and all of a sudden,
is it just a white man? Is it just a white man? But I thought the law
a foreigner. But we know, but Dennis, we know it's pretty much, we know it's a white boy. So now what will happen is in the next 10 years, some white boy from Wisconsin or from some slum in UK will come in and say, I'm Nigerian, funny, isn't it? And he'll be able to come in and colonize us even further. And this is the games that are being played. And so if we don't threaten them at least with instability, we'll always be under their foot. Even if we don't go like Winifred is saying, let's totally revolt. But we have to at least make them scared enough that, look, listen, this your system will collapse it tomorrow.
I'd like
to collapse it tomorrow if you don't play the game.
Let me tell you how you're gonna make them scared. Sorry, let me just finish this point, please. Let me tell you how you're gonna make them scared. You tell them that you make it go out and say, you know what? We want to see the accounts of all government institutions. If you are a state governor, we want to see the account. We have a right to see it. If you run that kind of campaign, that's the kind of one that is going to push shivers down your spine. You know why? Because people will support it. We want to see every penny that's going out, and you have a right to see technically. Even in the West, they have Freedom of Information Act. But in Nigeria, we can take it one step further. When money goes out, we get a ping. Oh, they just spend money. Where did it go? So that, you know what that does? You are killing two birds with one stone. You are restoring people's faith in government in terms of what they are doing with the money, and at the same time, you are curtailing corruption.
But to Nigeria, which Nigerian politician is going to bring that up in the Senate, and is it going to so-called pass? This is what Winifred is pointing out about. Wait.
You've got a big mouth. What are you doing?
Wait.
All the young people that keep talking, let them go and do these things now.
No. To Nigeria, cool down. This is what Willie Fair was trying to point out, where he says, for example, the sanctions don't even exist, yet they're being enforced. So now to ask the African youth, whether they're in Mali, whether in Ivory Coast or in Nigeria, to all of a sudden now go and enforce this new idea that Nigeria says, and I'm not coming at you personally, this is okay, we're going to create a system that enforces transparency. How? Because you know what they'll tell us. For example, I'm from the Niger Delta. I just gave an example how Zamfara has gold in the north, right? Zamfara is saying, oh, the gold is our own. The oil that's been feeding Nigeria, all the wealth that Nigerians love to brag, oh, Nigeria is a rich country, Nigeria is a rich country. I'm sorry to say, if you're not from the Delta, keep quiet. That oil belongs to us. And that oil was shared amongst our people. And when you ask the elite politicians, especially the ones from the north, why is it like this? You know what they say? It's the Constitution. No, wait. What do they say? No, wait. To Niger. What do they say? They say it's the Constitution. It's the Constitution. So then what do we have? They are now giving us, look at the game. These are the occult games, like Brother Emmanuel saying, these are entities. These are dark occult games that they're playing. They're playing shadow games. So they give us a document that they know will not allow us true freedom and true movement. And then when we try to rebel against it, Wilfred, they'll now say, but you have to follow the document. You have to follow the document. But the document is bullshit to begin with.
But you are not answering the question. I said,
No,
how would you what would stop you from being able to do something like this? If you deny politicians space, they will have to do what you want.
You've been talking for I don't know how many minutes. I couldn't take a word. I have a big problem with what's been said about what I supposedly have said. Basically, what's going on in Mali, and that's extremely important to say. The situation in Mali is now way more stable than it's been for years, because this so-called junta has stabilized the situation, whether it's on a military standpoint and a political standpoint. So when you're talking about revolution doesn't mean anarchy. These two terms are not synonym. It has to be clear.
Good, I agree. So, like I said, I want Gas them up to address this point. Okay.
Just say, like what Gas was trying to say is how Winifred was saying, how can we contain our own system? If you go to Dubai, if you like, you marry a Dubai citizen, or you are a Nigerian, Malian from Sierra Leone, if you want to open a business there, you have to use their citizens' identity to do it, so that if anything happens, it becomes theirs. If you cannot buy,
it's the same in the majority of countries in West Africa. But
no, it's not the same.
But in like in Nigeria, if you're not a citizen, you have to partner with the local to start a business. Same thing with Ghana. Same thing with. I know the French-speaking ones you don't have to, but for the most part,
it depends on the type of business, Dynast.
Yeah, like Daniel, what I'm trying to say is this how this Arab elite people kind of control the best friends of Americans are the Dubais, the Saudi Arabia. They are still running monarchies, but they came to our side. They said we should run democracy. Right? Okay, they didn't tell other people to run democracy. They are their best friends, they share money, they share ideas, they do everything. They are the one that sell more crude and all that. But when you go to maybe this is how Chinese courted theirs too, except you give birth in China, your son is going to be a citizen. But you, as the father that married a Chinese lady, you're not going to be a citizen. You keep renewing your visa till you get tired and get the fuck out of the country. But if you find out that most of the system in Nigeria, most of all those old jargons they have in the Senate, they don't know anything. We'll give them a little time. They will run out. All right? So we're going to change the system. The system.
Have you talked to their children?
I'm saying one simple thing now. Let's address this point, because I really am interested in understanding what the challenges are against making government accounts public. What are the challenges? Because I believe if you tell Nigerians that they will be able to see every money that the government are trying to embezzle from them, Nigerians will jump at it. And
the budget is already open now. You can see what the local government is supposed to get. The budget is already open. It's not being enforced.
They don't see it in real time. They don't see it in real time because
Yeah,
it goes into the dark and they don't know where the money is going to.
it's
What
going
I'm
to
saying
come
is
up.
that they want to see
It's
it in
going.
real time because I know. Sorry, let me just finish. When my account now, somebody takes money in Nigeria, it will ping me. Ping, the money shows up. If I make transfer to anybody, ping. Why is a governor's account not like that? Why is the presidency's account not like that? Apart from insecurity or more sensitive areas, all those things
Yes.
should be made public so that when it is made public, you know what will happen? People will now know where their money is going to. If you tell them to contribute to something like for healthcare, when they are putting the money in, they can see the money increasing in their account. You see what I mean?
No,
This
I'm
is
not
common
against that. I'm not
transparency.
against that. I'm just trying to say that the transparency part, yeah, sure, it can be if somehow it's implemented, great. But the system is already there for it to be transparent, and it's still cloudy. But now I want to touch on what Emmanuel was saying, right,
Because it
about
goes in the
Dubai,
dark.
and what Emmanuel said about Dubai, for example, or most of these Arab countries. Now, he said that if you want to open up a business, even if you marry the citizen from that country, you have to you can't own it. It will stay in their land. Now, let me show you the funny thing about what is going on in the world dynamics. These games that are being played. If I go to if wherever any black man is, if a black man wakes up tomorrow and says he's going to marry two women, they will attack that black man. They say, "You're oppressing women, you're terrible, polygamy is evil, you're destroying women, this." But if a black man like myself decided to wear a dress, and I have nothing against anybody's orientation, don't come after me. But if I decide to wear a dress and a wig, they will say I'm empowered, they say I'm empowering people. And this is what they're now pressuring.
I will say you're empowered.
Hold on, this is what they're now pushing on African governments to take with their foreign aid. But don't you people find it interesting that they're not asking Saudi Arabia to do the same thing? No one is asking Saudi Arabian women to be empowered. No one is
Hey,
asking
listen,
Saudi Arabian men to wear a dress.
gas them up. I brought that up to one of my my liberal friends here in America, and they had every excuse for it. Well, it's just what it is. I'm like, they pushed this in Africa, but they refused to push this in Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or these other Middle Eastern countries. And he made every excuse in the book on why that's so. It's just it was
Listen, this
bothering.
stuff gets even deep. Wilfred, you're in French West Africa. Do you know they had that film Cuties, right, Dinus? They had that film. It was a horror film, right? Where they got this black.
No, they got charged. So they're in the. I think Netflix got actually charged in the state of Texas for releasing that film.
No, thank God they did. But I'm saying in Europe, right? So Wilfred, I don't know if you've seen the film. They had this film, and look at how these are the games, the psychological games that these people play. They got this film about a black girl who's so-called coming of age. She's rebelling against her African tradition. She's a black Muslim girl, right? African Muslim girl, Wilfred, and she's dancing, twerking for a white guy, stripping, taking pictures of herself. And I said, wait a minute, they would never have an Arab girl play that role. An Arab Muslim girl play that role. But they got purposely they used the African Muslim girl to do that. And the so-called woman who did this was a black African French woman. So I wanted to ask you, Wilfred, and I hate to make it about women, but is that something you've noticed? That whenever the French West Africans get to France, they're just very quick to rush to the Frenchman who's also oppressing them, whether it's the women or the men.
Well, can you rephrase your question actually because it was kind of broad?
Okay, so I'm saying that. Do you notice the same thing? Because I see it all the time here. That especially nowadays, these so-called enlightened Africans are quick to sell out to anything European, especially in terms of dating, sex, and stuff like that. Is it the same with French West Africa?
Wow. I think basically is the case in all of the continent. I mean, French Africa to this extent is not an exception.
Yeah,
Now,
I think many of them, like the French countries, from what I observe from the outside, they seem to be they seem to feel like they are part of the French state, and I guess this is one of those things that because the French in the early stages, the early times when they started colonizing Africa, while the British kept us at arm's length, the French brought this in their colonies somewhat closer compared to the English. not that close to develop them, but close enough. And so now, when the English left, it left us a bit more freedom because they've always kept us at arm's length anyway. But the French, they still felt like they were close to the French Francophone countries felt like they were still close to the French. But when in reality, if they look at the numbers and look at the maths, clearly these people are impoverishing you. And the Francophone countries are being impoverished. And it's a very, very strong influence that they have
I agree
over
on that, and that's what I
the
was
French.
talking about. This system has a name. When French people basically colonized a French part of Africa, as you said, they created elites that would be linked to the French metropole, or basically to the French central states. And the people ruling French-speaking Africa today are the descendants of this elite class of Africans that used to be basically built within the colonization. And that's the reason why, and I'll have to come back to the topic, Mali. The reason why Malian people kicked the head out of the older president, Ibrahim Boubacar Keita, it is because he was part of this class. And when you're living in such a system where not only the French, basically the French businesses, because that's what the system is about. The system is named France Afrique, right? And the system is made to allow French to have basically a territory, French-speaking Africa, where French multinational businesses have a monopoly and can do whatever they want. In this system, well, this system is basically made to prevent any African talents to emerge. And if ever some talents, when I'm talking about talent, I say whether it's people or businesses or anything economical that could basically help to build a country. Well, every time basically any people of talent or any guy with a business idea emerge in the French-speaking Africa, he is gonna get catched by the French system and make work for France. And in this condition, and that's what I'm talking about Mali once again because it was the topic. Well, you can't thrive in this system and make Africa evolve. You have to destroy it. And that's why basically people in Mali did by throwing away the president Ibrahim Boubacar Keita, who didn't do anything to defend its country, and allowed the terrorists to basically gain from 10% of the territory to 2/3. And this is the reason why the army in Mali took the power. They basically took the power to prevent the situation to being chaotic. Because if the people would have taken it with the popular revolution, I have to repeat it, popular revolution that kicked out the president in the first place, if the army didn't take the power to organize things, it would then be chaos. And it is not the case thanks to these military power. And by the way, it also has to be said, and that's the reason why I was talking about Mali. These military power, actually, they took the power one time. They formed a government of transition that was supposed to organize elections. But guess what? The guys in this government, right, were people belonging to this very France-Afrique system. And what they did is they went directly to France to tell Emmanuel Macron about what there was about what Mali was supposed to do to rebuild his government free from the French influence. And that's the reason why there was a second coup in Mali to overthrow these new transition governments and to make military people come again. And that's the reason why I have to disagree with you tonight, just sorry, but you can have a revolution with military people without it being chaotic. And Mali is the perfect example of that. The military preventing the chaos to come. They gave the power to civilian government to organize election. These guys were sellouts. They had to come back. And now that they are back, they're saying, okay, now we're gonna first get rid the country of all these jihadists, and then and only then we're gonna organize elections that would be legitimate because most of Malian people could take part in this. Because if there would be elections in Mali now, like the ECOWAS one, it would be ridiculous because I repeat it once and for all, 2/3 on the country of Mali are in the hands of jihadists, and in the neighbors country.
Well, you see, those two things, those you made a statement that is quite contradictory. If they are so popular, then the elections will be the whether to tell or not to tell, it doesn't matter. He will win the election anyway. Then he carries on and does whatever he needs to do. I say this thing because I've seen North African countries do the same thing. I've seen many parts of the world that are relatively stable do the same thing. You take over a government and you become a military regime and then do what you need to do to sort your country out. Nobody's saying you should not sort.
Hey, I got some. Hold on one second. I got some news. I wanna break real quick. Thomas Sankara's murder, ex Burkina Faso President Blaise Compaoré found guilty. He's gonna serve life. He's gonna serve life in prison. I don't know where, but
No. He's not gonna serve any sentence.
Is he under arrest?
He's not gonna serve any sentence for a simple reason. This guy was ejected from the power in Burkina Faso in 2014. The people, once again, people revolution threw him out. But guess what? French army exfiltered this guy to Ivory Coast,
yeah,
where he received the Ivory Coast citizenship, and now Alassane Ouattara, the guy we were talking earlier, right?
Three-term president.
Right now, he's saying, "Oh no, we can't basically give him to Burkina Faso because he became officially a citizen of Ivory Coast, and we don't."
Yeah, I'm reading this right now. He lived in exile in Ivory Coast. I knew that since he was removed from office following mass protests in 2014, and has taken up Ivorian nationality.
No, they gave it
So
to
you
him.
see the games.
They gave it to him.
It's the name of the game with these things now, and I'm not surprised they do something like that.
So Wilfred, you know what's funny? This guy Macron that you mentioned, if you guys go on YouTube, this same garbage man, this French piece of garbage, was in Nigeria going to Femi Kuti's shrine, saying they used to listen to Femi Kuti, l'Afrique, Africa. Look, and the Africans were eating this stuff up. They were, oh my God, he's gonna be good. He likes Fela, he likes Femi Kuti. And I'm just, when are Africans gonna wake up and realize the Muzungu, the Oyibo, whatever you want to call them, don't like us?
I have to object because Nigerians were maybe buying this shit. People, I don't know if you realize, but in the
Nigerians. It's not the French. It's Nigerian. Listen, I'm sorry to say. That's why I say I'm not a Nigerian, and I know you Nigerians in the chat will hate me. At the end of the day, Nigerians don't know what they want. Either they want a white Jesus. They're confused people. I don't deal with them. They're crazy.
I have two stuff to say. First, I'm gonna say something about this. What many of you don't understand, and that's the reason why I'm intervening. I'm a medical student. I should be learning goddamn surgery now, but I'm not, because when I saw the title, I said, and to Nigeria, I said I have to intervene. In French-speaking Africa, mentality changed, and people of my generation are gonna basically throw the system away, whether people from the older generation like it or not. And when I'm saying this, look at countries like Senegal and Niger and Cote d'Ivoire. You're gonna see they're gonna be the next one. But anyway,
I definitely want Niger.
The second thing I'd like to say, second thing, right, is the fact that the reason why you were talking about the army and so on, the reason why French people are against the government of Mali and are attacking it with so much vehemence, it is because this guy chose not to use the French army to back them up in their fights against jihadists. They committed the huge crime, so to speak, right? To choose Russian over the French. Since this moment, they became the enemies. This is the only reason why they are basically under all these sanctions.
And I think it was a smart move to go for the Russians, because the Russians will at least to an extent ensure their survival for a time. And I feel like that this is an opportunity for Mali to build and do what Eritrea did. Eritrea is the most defended sub-Saharan African country. They don't take nonsense from anybody. They don't apologize to anybody. And if Mali is to learn any lesson, let them look at Eritrea. That country is highly militarized, and they have the highest literacy rate in sub-Saharan Africa. And the second most defended region is Somaliland. They too have very high literacy rate, because when you have security, you have stability, and now your children can go to school. The rate is about 90-something% for children from 16 to 20-something, 90-something% in Eritrea, because The stability, the military gave them that stability to be able to grow to that level. And
Is going to
that's what
school
I'm
the
trying
answer?
to. Pardon?
Is going to school the answer?
Oh, if you are educated, you are more likely to be able to defend your country better, isn't it? When you are a soldier, you are more educated, you can invent, you can do all kinds of stuff. Going to school is also very important. And besides, it's not even
To
the
learn
economy.
what? Going to school to learn what?
To go to school
Yeah,
to learn
that's
anything.
yeah, guys, see, there are so many complications. You mentioned something about Jesus not quite long ago. Do you believe Nigeria is 250 million because they are not counting it right, or more than right? I told somebody, say, if Jesus Christ died for our sin, why are we praying for forgiveness of sins? It's simple mathematics. When you pay your child or you pay for school fees or you pay for something and they come back, you haven't paid, how are you going to feel? And do you know that the whole of Africa, especially West Africa, they are very stupid people. The whole of West African people are worshiping Robert Boyle. That's what they have in their house. That's what they watch every Sunday. And you have to pay a pastor like Pastor Chris, or that Debo that is tired, or this Oyedipo that look like a drunkard. You have to pay them money before this Christ will answer you. I don't understand the magic. TD Jakes is a motivational speaker. His first son is a girl. He could not even correct him. He has one of his boy in Nigeria that he cloned, and they are there. Look at Paula that is preaching. All his body is plastic surgery. These people will just come, read the Bible, they don't even understand. They will just be telling this mogul that you have to pray and come to UK and come and do PhD. When you finish, you're going to become a security man or you'll be working for care. And if you want to see the mental health people in the UK, the British people is going to put their own British people in the house. They will take the black people and put them in a mad people or put them in a prison. Listen, see, the system is fucking corrupt. I study here in the UK, but when you study here in the UK, you're going to, you are like somebody that is cursed. Your eye will be open to the system that you are fucked. This is a cartel. You understand? CIA said drugs in America. So I know when Martin Luther King finished his job, all those Reagan, they say, why these people gather money to help Martin Luther King to acquire all this? They remove all the businesses for their hand. They start selling heroin to them, putting them to prison because prison system in America is a business. Individual control it. You understand? So when you go to prison, you work for Siemens, they're going to be paying you like 50 cents. When you come out, you see you have felony, you cannot go to job. But if you're in the prison, you can work, they sell the product. So this is all, they use all of us. When you understand the system, you find out all these monopoly cartel boys, they know what they are doing. You understand? It's just a capitalist system. So we cannot. So we Africans will have to kick our ass back to our country. We talk of electricity, it destroys our eyes. These are very expensive things. We don't even need it. You know what I mean? People just come, oh, Nigeria, Africa does not do this thing. Africa is the best place to stay, whether you like it or not. All the children, see, there was one time, because of my way of moving around, I become an Italian, by passport, because Italian is going to tell you that you are not born in Italy, so you are not Italian. But do you know that Italian, what I'm saying, verify it, is recorded here. Italian men are the people that kill their wife sporadically, but you cannot hear it in the news. When you hear omicidio, meaning death, they will always read it in Italian news. Every 7 o'clock news that an Italian man have killed the wife and the 2 children. Why? Because he borrowed money for vacation. They could not pay back. Bank is disturbing them. You just take on. You just finish the wife, or maybe the wife greets one man outside because they are not. They don't. The Italian man. They don't. In fact, see what is happening. We Africans. This is time we have to go home. If you like, you study medicine, you study business, you study anything. UK only render services. They don't have companies here anymore. You understand? When you study very well, you find out that these people, they are using us. Our people are coming here to work for them. Many Nigerian doctors are lavishing in NHS. They don't have document, but agency will employ them to become a doctor. They don't give them documents here. People will bring £20,000 to the UK to come and do masters, and they will do PhD. When they finish, the British government is going to tell them, go back to your country and develop. They will say, no, what will my family say? They will become security. PhD holders are doing security in the UK. Is that not bullshit? If you graduate, they will say, oh, Nigeria, there is no job. Can't you create a job?
Yeah, hey guys, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out. We had, I appreciate this long. Let me turn my camera on. I appreciate this in-depth and long conversation. I really do. But everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. But till next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.